Welcome all to the 2021 ODAC Baseball Championship, Game 3. This one's for all the marbles. We are here at Fox Field on the University of Lynchburg campus. I'm Scott Musso along with Matt McIntosh today. And Matt is a student at Shenandoah University. So we're going to do our level best to be unbiased in our reporting and commentating of this ball game, but I can't predict that we're going to be perfect at that. Can we, Matt?
No, at bits and at moments we may be, but as the game goes on, depending who's in the lead, we'll see. A couple hours of baseball here, exciting. Hornets going to fly away with the championship today. It's just a matter of which one will be the Northern Hornets of Shenandoah or the home team, Lynchburg, who won Game 2 yesterday after falling 12-5 to Shenandoah in Game 1.
Yeah, it was the two relatively close ball games yesterday. Even though the score doesn't look like that, it was Game 2 wasn't as close as Game 1. But in Game 1, Shenandoah had to battle back from a 4-0 deficit, ended up scoring 4 runs in the third inning, and then had a 5 spot in the fifth to pull away. And Lynchburg, as the visiting team yesterday, doing the very difficult task of winning that ball game and then to force Game 3 today. So Lynchburg looking for their first ODAC championship since 2012. Shenandoah looking for its third straight ODAC championship, albeit over 4 years. They've won 2018 and 2019. No championship last year because of the pandemic, and their fourth overall. At stake is the automatic bid into next week's NCAA tournament, and I have to believe that the only team from the ODAC that's getting in is the champion today. In looking at it, Shenandoah is the number 2 team in the South region. But if the Shenandoah Hornets lose, I think they're going to drop, and you cannot say that, but by any stretch of the imagination, that they would get in with any certainty. So the only way to make sure that you're in is to win. You need to go out there and get it done today. And so Frankie Ritter for the Shenandoah Hornets will step in against Carson Kinston of the Lynchburg Hornets. Kinston 3-1 on the season, and he was the starting pitcher in one of the games between Shenandoah and Lynchburg up in Winchester on April 17th.
Loud crowd. Here's first pitch, and it is in there for a ball on the outside, it looked like. So 1-0 count. Frankie Ritter leading off. He'll be followed by Grant Thompson, the right fielder for Shenandoah, and Colby Martin, ODAC Player of the Year, who plays second base. Those are the 3 Hornets scheduled to take bat in the top of the first. Followed by them is Keegan Wolford, Pierce Booker, Hayden Madigan, and then the bottom 3 of the order, Henry Delver in left field, A.J. Ward, the designated hitter, and catching for the Hornets is Matt Moon with Calvin Pastel on the mound as a starter here in game number 3. He's usually a weekday starter playing here on a Saturday. Ritter will foul this one off.
So now still 1-2. Carson, as I mentioned, 3-1 on the year, 1 complete game, 1.79 ERA, and 8.94 strikeouts per 9 innings. So he certainly likes to throw strikes, and he's got some movement on his fastball.
This one well hit into right field, and it'll drop. Ritter will round first, but decide to stay. So the leadoff hitter is standing on first base for the Hornets of Shenandoah. Excuse us if we say Hornets. Got to get used to it.
Yeah, it's going to be tough not using the nickname today with the Hornets and Hornets playing. As we were joking beforehand, obviously a Hornet is going to be a champion today. We just don't know which one. And so Frankie Ritter with the single, he extends his hitting streak now to 16 games.
Grant Thompson steps into the box. He did not play Game 2. He played Game 1 yesterday. They'll throw over to Ritter. He's back in time.
Yeah, Thompson had some cramping issues yesterday, ended up going over to the hospital, getting an IV, feeling much better by all reports. Talked to one of his roommates, Jared Lowry, before the game. He said, oh, yeah, he's feeling much better. And so, Grant's obviously in there. He's a senior, a five-year player for Shenandoah. He wants to be in the lineup at all possible.
There's guys on both sides of the field for both teams that are playing with injuries in this winter go-home situation, especially those seniors and those in grad school who got the year back because of the pandemic.
Yeah, this is what you play for. So if you can walk, you're going to be playing today.
0-1 count to Thompson as he'll pop this one up right to second base for out number 1. Moves him to 0-1 brings up ODAC Player of the Year, a COVID freshman, Colby Martin, second baseman for Shenandoah.
Martin, 491 on the year. I think he was 5 for 10 yesterday. I want to say he was 3 for 6 in game 1 and 2 for 4 in game 2. So basically right at his batting average. Just an absolutely amazing year for the freshman from Lidditz, Pennsylvania.
Only 491. Can we get it up to 500 for him? Nothing to sneeze at, though. That, of course, leads Shenandoah in batting average by, I'd say, a large margin.
A considerable margin, over 100 points.
No pitches have been thrown to Martin yet. Keep throwing it over to Ritter, who does have speed.
I don't think they want to take the bat out of Martin's hand necessarily. Carson doing his level best, obviously, to keep Ritter close, but you want to let your number 3 hole hitter swing the bat.
And you want to see how Carson does here early on. He has had a minor injury the last couple of weeks, from what I understand. They've only had him hitting, and he'll be in the lineup for them as their designated hitter today.
In the 3 hole.
Yeah, see how far he can go as starter. Both teams yesterday, their starters, maybe got hit up a bit by either team. As the count moves to 2-0. Keegan Wolford in the on-deck circle. Definitely don't want too many men on base when he steps into the box. Leads the ODAC in home runs this year. Sits second in RBIs. First strike, 2-1.
Well, on the outside corner there. Thought maybe that was a touch outside. Looked like Martin was kind of reaching for it based on his body language, but home plate umpire calling the strike.
Shenandoah in the blue uniforms today with the gray pants. Lynchburg wearing red jerseys with white pants.
The Rawlings jerseys, the true away uniforms for Shenandoah, the blue jersey, the navy jersey with Shenandoah across the front. It's the last year of those jerseys before we get a new set of Under Armour uniforms to replace them.
3-1 count. This is the loudest crowd I have heard all year. Of course, there haven't been many large crowds up till this point.
This is one of the first crowds we've had, basically a full contingent of home and away fans. And then the atmosphere here at Lynchburg, where basically you're in a hole, everybody on top of one another. It's going to be a lot louder than at, say, at Bridgeforth, where it's much more spread out. As Carson comes in with strike 2 to fill up the count at 3-2 here with 1 out in the top of the first inning. No score, still early here in, almost said Winchester, in Lynchburg.
Playing on James C. Fox Field on the campus of Lynchburg, as Martin will hit this one right at second base, but they'll drop it. That has to go down as an error, a fielding error if I had to guess.
Yes, that's certainly going to be an error. Maybe you give Martin a fielder's choice, and then the error goes from first to second because you figured that they would have tried to get the lead runner. But regardless, it is going to be an error somehow because 2 guys are on that should not be there, and that brings up Keegan Wolford, the Hornets' first baseman.
Well, Ritter moves up to second on that one, and what could have been a possible double play. We saw him Ritter make that mistake early in game number 1.
Actually made 2 of those errors in game 1.
Steps in Keegan Wolford. Sits atop the home run leaderboard for the ODAC with 14.
Looking for record-tying 15th home run.
Two men on, just 1 out. Ritter at second, Martin at first. That's the first pitch, and it'll bounce in the dirt for ball 1. Good job by Holden Fielder, the catcher today for Lynchburg, making sure that ball didn't get too far away from him. Ritter looked like he was about to run to third, but then decided to stay where he was. And Martin has speed on first, too, so, 2 wheels on the bases for Shenandoah early.
Yeah, you figure if Wolford hits a ball in the gap, then at least 1 run's going to score, but probably 2 because Martin can flat out fly.
Low for ball 2 once again. Shenandoah, they have a good mix of veteran players and young stars. Colby Martin, a good example of one of the youngsters on the team. And then, of course, Keegan Wolford, a good example of one of the veterans. That one is at the knees for ball 3, 3-0 count.
Looks
a hitter's count.
Looks like Carson's last outing on the mound was May 8th against Washington and Lee. Went 4 innings in a 12-8 victory over the Generals.
It's about 2 weeks in between appearances on the mound.
Gave up 4 runs, 2 earned on 7 hits in 4 innings of work. Had 4 strikeouts and 2 walks in that contest.
Both of these teams have high-power offenses that can easily score at least 10 runs in a game. Both teams doing that at least 19 times this season. But it seems like when these two teams face in the past, it's been a pitcher's battle.
Yeah.
Low-scoring games. As bases will be loaded after a 5-pitch walk.
Pretty close call on that pitch. 3-1 on the inside corner. I thought that maybe that would have been strike 2, but Keegan Wolford stops, drops his bat, and takes off his shin guard, trots over to first base to load the bases for Pierce Booker. Booker, the Shenandoah Hornets' second leading hitter, at 380 on the season, 62 hits in 163 at bats. Matt, we should probably start a tally mark for how many times we just say Hornets and screw up the viewers.
Might run out of lead on my pencil if we do that.
Like I said, we're trying, but I don't know that we have been put in a position to succeed on this with Hornets and Hornets. I do want to say to all the people that have come by and complimented Mark and I on our broadcast yesterday, thank you so much for the feedback. It always is it's great to hear when people enjoy the broadcast, and Matt and I hope that we can do the same for everybody today.
Mark had to go do men's lacrosse with Lynchburg as they are in the quarterfinals of the NCAA men's tournament.
At Salisbury, they're playing Christopher Newport today at 4 o'clock, and then the winner of that game will most likely take on the host Seagulls in the national semifinals, and that gives them the right to go on to play in the national championship game, which is competed as part of a championship weekend in Division 1.
This one will bounce right to third. It's a high bouncer. They will get 1, but Ritter will come home to score for the first run of the day.
So Booker does his job, beats one into the ground, so an RBI ground out. That should go as an unearned run because Ritter should have been retired on the ball up the middle at second base, but we'll see how that was actually scored. Well, regardless, that would have been the third out, so that's an unearned run. That'll bring Hayden Madigan to the plate. Madigan getting the job done in Game 2 yesterday with his glove, saved about 4 runs for Shenandoah. Took away a 3-run home run and had another nice catch in left field as he skies one to right field, on the first pitch. And so Lynchburg will get out of it with just the 1 run on no hits, or 1 hit, the 1 error, and 2 left on. So after a half inning, Shenandoah 1, Lynchburg coming to bat. You're watching ODAC Championship Baseball on LHSN. Welcome back to Fox Field here on the University of Lynchburg campus. The ODAC championship game here on LHSN. I'm Scott Musso along with Matt McIntosh, and the Shenandoah starter is Calvin Pastel. Pastel coming into today's game with a 3-1 record on the season and a 3-point. Of course, I can't find his stuff now. A 3.32 ERA in 9 appearances, all starts, 40 2/3 innings pitched. Pastel has 27 strikeouts and 10 walks in those 40 2/3. Undoubtedly, his best outing of the year, a victory over Salisbury University, a 3-hit shutout. He pitched phenomenal in that ball game. So you figure if you can beat the number 3 team in the nation, you should be able to be up to the task of pitching in an ODAC championship game. Pastel is, and during his true freshman year, he pitched in the regionals at Kane University, so he's got experience pitching in playoff type game, in big games, playoff atmospheres. So I think he's certainly up to the challenge, but he's going to be taking on a very tough Lynchburg lineup, leading off the right fielder, Cameron Lane.
Cameron Lane comes in batting .277 in 33 games played, 83 at-bats with 23 hits. He has come across to score 27 times, hoping to get Lynchburg on the board to at least tie it up here early, and he'll foul one off for strike one.
We didn't get a chance to talk about it in the pregame, Matt, but it's everything today is pitching. Pitching. This is basically a survival of the fittest. And so who has the arms to go out there and get outs, whether that's Shenandoah or Lynchburg, that's going to go a long way to determining the champion.
And both of these teams have played the same number of tournament games heading into today. Shenandoah played 3 in the first round, 2 in the previous round, while Lynchburg played 2 in their first round and 3 in the second round. And, of course, both teams playing twice yesterday. 1-2 count. That one was close to the plate.
Just low. Be very curious as to what the coaching staff, the coaches in the ODAC think of this format, this pandemic-driven format of three-game series, and whether they return to the 3-game series to start and then a 4-game double elimination tournament, or they keep this one. So Pastel hits Lane with the 1-2 pitch, and that is not a good sign for Shenandoah. Yesterday, I think the Shenandoah Hornets hit about 4 batters from Lynchburg, and I want to say every one of them ended up coming around to score. You absolutely cannot give your opponent free passes, and that's what you're doing when you keep hitting guys, especially on a 1-2 count. You're trying to waste a pitch.
And Lynchburg in both games scored early, and that's where a majority of their scoring took place, especially in game 1 with the early 4-0 lead before Shenandoah came back to score 12 of the next 13 runs, and that 12-5 win for the Hornets in blue. And this brings up Garrett Jackson, the first baseman, number 21. He now has battling a 0-2 count. Once again, Pastel pitching 2 straight strikes to begin an at-bat, hoping for a better outcome than the leadoff. And the on-deck circle is Carson, the pitcher for Lynchburg. 1-2 count. Calvin started off as a weekend starter for Shenandoah, and then about halfway through the season was moved to a weekday starter. So, he's used to playing in double headers and in single game days.
And he actually was the Game 2 starter for Shenandoah in the quarterfinal round against Hampton-Sydney. He was not scheduled to start that day. He was scheduled to be the Game 3 starter if need be. When Jacob Favor went down with an injury, they plugged him in to the Game 2 start and then went with Riley Owen in Game 3. And Owen was so strong in that Game 3 that he came back the next week and was the Game 2 starter last week against Eastern Mennonite and then yesterday against Lynchburg.
2-2 count. This one will get away from Matt Moon, and Lane will run up to second base. Count is now full. with a runner in scoring position for Lynchburg. Not what you want if you are Shenandoah, especially with this rowdy crowd.
Yeah, so Pastel quickly ahead 0-2, and now Jackson battling to make the count full, and the runner moving up on the wild pitch. So the double play no longer in order. Again, this is what you were, if you're a Shenandoah fan, this is what you feared, is that Lynchburg had an answer to Shenandoah stepping up at the beginning.
This one hit the right field. Grant Thompson there to catch it. Lane tagging up, and he will get there sliding as the throw got a little away from Booker, who's playing third base today.
So Jackson doing his job, moving the runner over from second to third. And, again, we talked about this yesterday with Mark. It's one of those things that doesn't show up in the score book, or it doesn't show up on the box score, but you've got a wild pitch that moves the runner from first to second. Now that he's on second base, the ball's hit the right field, he can tag and go to third. So any kind of contact here probably scores a run and ties this ball game. When, had there not been the wild pitch, he's still on first base with one out and the double play being in order.
And, of course, with just one out, a sacrifice fly will do the job, too, as this one's low in the dirt for ball number 1. Kinston Carson batting third today for Lynchburg. Comes in batting .333. He has 53 hits and 159 at-bats. And he'll make good contact with this one, but foul. It's hard to see down that first base line in right field for us with the angle we're at.
Yeah, you kind of have to duck and then look through the tent here and to see what's going to happen with the ball. Good pitch, but a little low. So 2-1 now on Carson.
Plenty of tents out today for the fans. It is a hot one and sunny. I've seen a couple of sunburns from the fans that were here for games 1 and 2 yesterday. This one will hit. Great diving play by Ritter to throw out the runner at first, but Lynchburg ties up the game.
Again, that's a super play from Frankie Ritter, but instead of being an ending double play, it's an RBI ground out, and the Lynchburg Hornets tie the game at 1-1 as Neves, I apologize. I knew I was going to screw that up. Neves steps up, the left fielder today.
He bats .387 on the season, and he will just foul the first pitch off. He has 67 hits and 173 at-bats. He has 10 home runs, which is good enough to place him second in the ODAC, right behind Shenandoah's Keegan Wolford on the home run leaderboard.
You have to believe that Neves he and Colby Martin were 1 and 2 for the player of the year. Obviously, Colby Martin edged him out there, but this kid had a phenomenal season nonetheless, setting an ODAC record for RBIs in a season.
There's a large gap in the RBI leaderboard with him at the top. He is 11 RBIs ahead of the next closest, I believe, is Keegan Wolford.
Wolford and Colby Martin very close there, within a couple of RBIs of one another. I think Keegan drove in more runs yesterday, so he's now second.
Another full count
Bless.
to batter Avery Neves.
So, again, we talked about it in the open, hitting batters. Every time you hit one, it seems they come around to score, and that's exactly what happened here with Lynchburg today. Pastel hitting the first batter of the inning, and the kid comes around to score as Neves looks like he's going to reach on an error, I believe. We'll wait for the official scoring, but
they give that one a hit, at least on the scoreboard, out and out in the outfield.
Okay, it's a little bit different than seemed like the scoring philosophy from yesterday, but all right.
That ball just took a weird hop in between second and third, and looked like an easy ground out coming to end the inning, but just Ball has a mind of its own.
Yeah, so that brings P.J. Alvanos up to the plate for Lynchburg, the second baseman.
He bats .320. He has started in 24 games, played in 38. A couple throwovers to first.
Lynchburg coming into today's game with a 33-13 record. Shenandoah at 31-10.
Lynchburg does have the better conference record. I believe they've only dropped 4 games in conference play.
Yeah, Shenandoah stumbled there in the last couple weeks, splitting down at Ferrum, and then the next week at home against Hampton-Sydney with a chance to be the #1 seed. Coughed up game 1 to the Tigers, and that dropped Shenandoah to the 4. The Hornets catching a break when when Eastern Mennonite upset Randolph-Macon in the first round, which allowed Shenandoah to host in rounds 1 and 2 rather than just round 1.
Lynchburg hosting in all of their series as the #2 seed. It happens when the #1 seed goes down. They played Bridgewater last week in a 3-game series.
Yeah. Had to rally there in the 3rd game. I watched a little bit of that from my couch on Sunday afternoon to figure out where I was going to be working this weekend, whether it was going to be at Bridgeforth Field or here at Fox Field in Lynchburg.
Watching that game to see if we would save money on gas, as this one popped up to Wolford. Out #3. Lynchburg scores 1 after a wild pitch. We head to the top of the 2nd, tied at 1. You're watching ODAC Championship baseball action.
Welcome back. ODAC Championship Baseball on LHSN. Scott Muse along with Matt McIntosh. Top of the 2nd inning, we're tied at 1 apiece. Shenandoah with the bottom of its lineup, Henry Delaverne, A.J. Ward, and Matt Moon taking on Kinston Carson.
Both teams got a single hit in the 1st inning. Lynchburg had an error in the top of the 1st, as Delaverne will foul this one off. Sounded like it hit something.
Hit the Wakefield House, that building right behind us.
Indoor practice facility for all sports here. Scott showed me around pregame.
I'm always of the hope that Lynchburg will decide that they want to add football, make scheduling for football a little bit easier. I think they would be phenomenal at it with the high school football in the area, EC Glass in particular. But there's some field issues on this campus that have to be solved before they could do that.
So quick 0-2 count as Delaverne will once again foul this one off down the first base side.
I know that Shenandoah head coach Scott Yoder doesn't agree with me. He thinks that Lynchburg would be pretty good very quickly. I think that would really affect Hampton-Sydney's recruiting. They bring a lot of kids out of the Lynchburg area.
Once again, another foul ball just hits the netting in front of the press box.
Another key for Shenandoah today is bottom of this lineup. Yesterday really struggled 7, 8, 9. Coach Kevin Anderson making a change in the DH spot. A.J. Ward in there today in place of Cooper Anderson. Maybe hope to jumpstart the bottom of this lineup.
We've seen A.J. Ward and Anderson kind of trade spots in that DH spot. And Cooper Anderson has also played some center field this year, trading back and forth early on with Henry Delvern.
Yeah, and he also played a little bit of left. And then yesterday, he played right field in Game 2 after Grant Thompson couldn't go because of the cramps. As Delaverne works it back to 2-2, taking outside both on the third and fourth offerings from Kinston Carson. Delaverne 278 coming into today.
No one on. That ball will bounce off of the catcher's glove. Full count now. Great job by Henry Delaverne working back. And quite the battle. The leadoff hitter in the top of the first for the Hornets got on, hoping to see the same thing happen here, as he will hit this one to right field, and it will drop, and that one will be a single for Henry Delaverne, his first hit of the afternoon.
So Delaverne, a good at-bat, down quickly 0-2, works it back to 3-2, and then clean single to right field for Shenandoah's second hit of the day. And the aforementioned A.J. Ward coming to the plate.
Battles like that are going to be key all day. You know, we talked about it in the last inning. Carson hasn't made an appearance in 2 weeks. So if you are the Shenandoah Hornets, you want to work up his pitch count early here. You want to do in all games with any pitcher, but especially one that hasn't played in a while, on the mound at least. Quick 0-1 count.
So Ward also at 278, 31 games, 32 starts, has 35 hits in 126 at-bats, 3 home runs along with 9 doubles and 24 runs batted in. As we talked about a little earlier, or we talked about last week, Matt, the Shenandoah Hornets tying the school record for home runs in a season. Ward, a big part of that. He had three dingers during the year.
Hornets of Shenandoah, once again, same Hornets, have definitely gotten home run productivity from all over the lineup. You know, usually you just see it from their big guys, you know, maybe Grant Thompson or Keegan Wolford, but Frankie Ritter got his name up there, and of course, Colby Martin hit a couple.
Now, Colby Martin, Frankie Ritter, and Hayden Madigan all with 8 home runs apiece. So you're 1, 3, and 6 hitters with a combined 24 home runs. That's pretty good.
That's more home runs than some ODAC teams have overall. Shenandoah leads the ODAC in total home runs, as Ward will hit this one in between second and third for a single. Delverne slips as he rounds second, stands back up in time.
So a little bit of a unique situation there. Long kind of playing up the middle and for Lynchburg at short, and Ward hitting the ball into the spot where he would normally be standing. So now first and second with nobody out. Anybody who's watched the game managed by Kevin Anderson knows that Matt Moon is up here to bunt.
Correct.
This is an automatic sacrifice situation. First and second, nobody out. 9-hole hitter up. Moon's job is to sacrifice. He pulls it back.
Talking about Coach Anderson, today is a special day for him. Not just ODAC Championship Saturday, but it's the game number 1,000 for him as a coach, as a head coach.
A college head coach.
Yeah.
Man, I have to give you 100% credit for picking up that note. And so I went down to pick up the lineup card before the game, which is a little bit of a tradition that Kevin and I have in tournament play. At home, we got a superstition where I don't touch it. He puts it on the table in front of me, but when we're on the road, he'll hand it to me. And I said, you know what today is? And he's like, he looks at me, and I'm like, it's the 1,000th time you filled out one of these as a college head coach. And so he, of course, had no idea, but I appreciate you pulling that piece of that factoid out that I was able to give to him before the game.
Quick calculations. Just pulled out the phone calculator. Did that about 2 weeks ago. Realized he had 5 games to go, and since he coached 2 games last week and then 3 games this week. That equals 1,000.
Even for the non-math majors out there, yes. So Moon pops that last one up, still 1 and 2. I think the bunt's still on. His job is to get the guys over.
Infield is playing in. The third and first, playing on the corners of the grass. He will lay down for bunt, and he'll get down. Ward gets the second. A throw from the ground from Carson gets Moon out in time, but he did his job, advances the runners, so the Shenandoah Hornets now have 2 runners in scoring position.
So, Moon, he's hitting .238 on the year, but he controls the bat really well. We saw that last week when he had a squeeze and the ball was up around his eyeballs, and he was able to fight it off and get the bunt down when he absolutely had to. And then there, on a 1-2 count, he successfully gets the sacrifice bunt down for Frankie Ritter now, 2nd and 3rd and 1 out.
Something that Shenandoah fans are used to seeing is Frankie Ritter hitting multiple times in the early innings. The second time he's come to the plate, and we're only in the top of the 2nd with 1 out. He singled to lead off the game.
So if you're a Shenandoah Hornet fan, obviously you're looking for Ritter to put the bat on the ball, and he does do that.
1 run will score. Ward will halt at 3rd. Shenandoah takes a 2-1 lead thanks to an RBI single from Frankie Ritter.
So Ward had to hold up a little bit at second base because that ball was screamed up the middle, and you weren't sure if the Lynchburg second baseman, P.J. Alvanos, was going to be able to come up with it on a dive. Alvanos was, just missed it, and so that prevented Ward from being able to come around to score. And so now runners on the corners with 1 out and Grant Thompson stepping to the plate.
Alvanos almost had that one. Dove out for it. He has some dirt on his white pants that are no longer clean.
And all over the front of his his red Lynchburg Hornet uniform, the Adidas uniforms.
So everyone that has to write a story about this game today will not have an easy time. Can't use the nicknames for the team.
Oh, it drives me nuts. We talked about it. Mark and I talked about it yesterday. I just can't. It's so hard not being able to use Hornets on a reference.
I'm sure your computer has Hornets and autocorrect at this point, as this one will be chopped up the first base side, but foul. So 1-1 is the count with 1 out, 2 runners on. Hornets have gotten 3 hits in this top half of the 2nd, all singles.
And Lynchburg doesn't use UL. They use LYN as their second reference or third reference abbreviation, and that drives me nuts, so I avoid that whenever I can. So I'm always referring to them as Lynchburg or the visitors or the host, whatever. As Thompson takes that one inside now, 1-2, after fouling off the second pitch.
He's 0 for 1. He popped up to second base to begin his afternoon.
And obviously Thompson's job is, again, just to put the bat on the ball and get Ward in.
And he will do that, and they'll get passed into the outfield. Ward will score. Ritter round second, heading to third, standing up. Once again, runners are on the corners, and the Hornets have doubled their lead. They now lead 3-1 here in the top of the 2nd.
So, if you're a Shenandoah Hornet fan, you're very excited. Now runners 1st and 3rd with 1 out, and Colby Martin come into the plate. Martin 0 for 1 on the day.
Did they give that one in his last at-bat fielder's choice or an error?
You would ask me that question. I'll go back and read that.
My book I have as fielder's choice question mark.
That was a fielder's choice.
Okay.
Yeah, fielder's choice, and then the Ritter moving from 1st to 2nd on the error. So that definitely, regardless, Frankie's run was unearned, but it was unearned 2 ways there. Ending extended by the out, plus he should have been taken out on the fielder's choice.
Should have been a 4-6-3 double play, but Shenandoah will take it. They got a run out of it.
Obviously cannot assume the double play, but you can assume the 4-6 part of that.
So 0-1 count to Martin. Runners on the corner. Thompson has a slight lead off of first. Carson is facing first base, so you can't get too far away. Pitch over the plate for strike 2. Outfield playing in their normal spots for this at-bat. Infield, second and short, playing deep, while the corners are playing in.
Playing.
And that's going to be 6-4 and not in time at first. Ritter comes across the plate to score, and that is now a 4-1 lead for Shenandoah.
So that's Colby Martin hustling down the line. Absolutely had to beat it out, or you're going to lose the opportunity to score that run. It looked like a tailor-made double play, but Martin's speed prevents that and extends the inning a little bit further here for Keegan Wolford.
So Martin's gotten on base his first 2 times, both by fielder's choices. Steps up Wolford, who's walked in his last at-bat, a 5-pitch walk.
I can hear it in my head. I don't know if it's coming through on the broadcast, but there's a couple of fans that disagree with that call at first base, and understandably so.
Good mix of fans. Shenandoah students and alumni made the 3-hour drive, depending if they came from campus, which most of them probably did from the Winchester area. About a 3-hour drive down. Made that drive this morning, left the Winchester area about 9:30, 9:45. Scott, you drove down yesterday and stayed the night here in Lynchburg.
Yes, a number of Shenandoah athletes here. I see a large contingent of women's lacrosse players. Kristen Fisher from the women's soccer team. They're all here supporting their friends and classmates.
0-1 count to Wolford. Martin stealing second. Gets there in time. Kind of a late reaction by everyone.
Yeah, a little delayed steal there. Smart call by the Shenandoah coaching staff, getting Martin into scoring position now for Keegan Wolford, trying to steal another run if Wolford's able to put the bat on the baseball. And if Martin gets thrown out, then you have your number 4 hole hitter leading off the next inning. So it's really, the return on that investment's a pretty good one, and that's why it always makes it a smart play to try and steal that base.
Always helpful when you have powerful bats as the cleanup hitter and as the 3, 4, 5 spots. Swing and a miss there, 1-2 count now.
I believe that is Martin's 25th stolen base of the season.
So Lynchburg is 1 strike away from getting out of this inning, where Shenandoah has scored 3 runs to make their lead 4-1 on 4 hits, no errors. Here comes the pitch.
Plunked him.
So Wolford gets on base for the 2nd time, has yet to make an official at-bat today. Who's walked in his first at-bat, hit by pitch here. Brings up Pierce Booker, who ended the first inning on a, sorry.
It was Hayden Madigan ending the first inning on a fly out, but Booker moving the runner over did a good job there, as Lynchburg associate head coach Travis Beasley makes the walk out to the mound to talk to his hurler. Smart move here by Beasley. His kid's been out there throwing a bunch of pitches in this inning. You just want to go out, give him a chance to catch his breath. Hey, just reset yourself. Let's get the 3rd out of this inning, get you back in the dugout, and let the guys with the sticks do the work. So you've got 5 mound visits. You might as well go out there and use one of them here to make sure that your pitcher's in the right headspace, because obviously there's no tomorrow. You absolutely can't let things get away from you. So you'd rather be proactive than reactive in this situation.
I've said it all year, and baseball is a mind game, and it's all about composure if you're the pitcher, and working those battles with the man at the plate, which he's had plenty of large pitch at bats so far. Just 1 walk, but a couple Shenandoah batters, battling back from 0-2 counts or fouling off 3 straight pitches.
you might be a little young for the yogiism, but it's like baseball's 90% mental and 50% physical. But the thought is correct. The math might not be right, but the thought is correct. Obviously, a huge mental aspect to the game of baseball.
So steps up to the plate is Pierce Booker. He has 2 runners on base. Martin at second, Wolford at first. He will hit this one right at the shortstop over to second base. Out number 3. Shenandoah scores 3 here in the top of the second, taking a 4-1 lead. Lynchburg comes to bat. You're watching LHSN ODAC Championship Baseball.
Welcome back here to Fox Field, the University of Lynchburg campus, ODAC Championship Baseball on LHSN. Scott Musso along with Matt McIntosh. And I had neglected to do this before the game, but we having a little technical difficulties with the center field camera. We're working on getting that back, but we just bear with us here. We use this behind home plate camera along with the one at first base to give you the best broadcast that we can. Here, bottom of the second. And Collins leading off for Lynchburg.
Number 15, the third baseman, has a 1-0 count. Now he'll move even to 1-1. Calvin Pastel on the mound for Shenandoah. Lynchburg got a little lucky in the bottom of the first. Was able to move up a runner to second thanks to a wild pitch. And that runner later came home to score. That was Cameron Lane, tied up the game at 1, but they have a bit of a hole to work out of as this one will be hit to Delver at center. He'll have to back up and make a catch on his heels.
Yeah, Delver came in 2 steps and then realized that ball was taken off on him. It was hit right at him, and anybody who's played center field, Mark Robertson, if he was on the broadcast, they would attest to this. That's the hardest ball in the world to judge. And Delver thought that ball was going to drop down, and it just took off on him. He had to back up and reach up, caught it over the top of his head for the first out of the game, or the inning, excuse me.
Wind not a factor here, according to the flagpole behind the scoreboard. Flag is not waving. Carson Atkins, the center fielder, steps up to the plate as the second batter for Lynchburg in this inning. He will swing and miss. Count now at 1-1. Comes in batting just 179 on the year. But he gets good contact on that one. It bounces off of Wolford's glove and then arm and heads to right field where Grant Thompson will pick it up.
Tough hop there. Let's see how that's scored. An error on Keegan Wolford.
So E3 in the books. Another rough bounce for this Shenandoah defense.
So Holden Fielder, the catcher, stepping up to the plate for Lynchburg, the 8-hole hitter.
Ryan Long in the on-deck circle. He's a shortstop today. Bats in the 9 spot. First pitch strike. Holden fielder, bats .273, 28 games started, 99 at-bats with 27 hits. So he'll hit this one in between first and second for a single. Runner rounding second, throw to third is not in time. So runners on the corners and just one out.
For the 9-hole hitter, Ryan Long. He might be in the 9-hole, but this kid is a pretty good hitter. He had a home run yesterday. He was coming into today hitting .250. 33 hits in 132 at-bats. As Shenandoah now a little bit of trouble here with runners on the corners with one out, and Long up to the plate looking at he gets a hit, you've flipped the lineup over, and so it's only going to get worse.
Still in double play territory though, so got to be careful about ground balls.
Yeah, so if you're a Shenandoah fan, you're hoping that Pastel can throw a 6-4-3 and get out of this.
Just one out, so any type of deep contact to the ball will most likely bring across the second run of the day. One count, just one out. Runners on the corner.
That's going to score one.
Delvern racing in for it. Throw to the plate. Now,
smart play at first base as Lynchburg elects not to try and test Delavern's arm, but the throw all the way in moves the runner from first to second. Now 2 outs and Cameron Lane up to bat. Lane in the first inning was hit by the pitch and ended up coming around to score.
Lynchburg just 2 hits so far early in the game. Both teams with an error, and Lynchburg has gotten on base thanks to a hit by pitch and then that lone error. And Avery Neves got the lone hit in the bottom of the first, which could have been an error on Pierce Booker at third, but he gave him a hit as that one just bounced over Booker's head. 1-0 count. This one hit to the right field. Thompson going back for it. Not in time. Ball will drop. 1 run comes to score. Second one will. Thompson throws it into the pickoff man Martin, who will not throw it, and that is a triple for Cameron Lane, and it is a 1-run game now. 4-3. Shenandoah still in the lead, and I'm sure you all can hear the crowd. They are on their feet and loud.
Grant Thompson laying out for it, just missed it. Goes all the way to the wall for the 2-out triple. Lane getting the job done for Lynchburg, clearing the bases, getting 2 runs, and that's going to bring Shenandoah assistant pitching coach Rick Krauscher out of the dugout to talk to his hurler.
Carson Atkins and Holden Fielder were the 2 Lynchburg Hornets to cross the plate on that bases clearing triple. So Cameron Lane 1 for 1 today.
So the decision not to test Delavern's arm proves to be the right one, as Lane got the job done and cleared the bases to keep Lynchburg in this, now 4-3 here in the bottom of the second inning.
See if that mound visit helps Shenandoah at all. Just need 1 more out to get out of this inning. Both teams have scored in both of the innings they've batted in so far. Both teams scoring 1 in the first. Shenandoah scores 3 in the top of this inning. And Lynchburg so far with 2 runs in the bottom half. Garrett Jackson at the plate, 0 for 1 on the day. Batting in the 2 spot. This one hit to right field. It'll drop, game tied off of a 2-out RBI single.
we've got that center field camera back. Thanks to Max, our director, and John Waters, the athletic director. He's the one doing the dirty work, running out there to center field to reattach the transmitter. So we've got that view back for you. As the pitcher, Kinston Carson, steps in. Carson 0 for 1 on the day, looking to extend this inning and maybe give himself a lead before he takes the hill for the top of the third inning.
Now we're playing ODAC baseball with high scoring early innings. More of a offensive battle so far today.
Yeah, like we talked about, pitching is going to be everything here in this ball game. Whoever can get out is going to probably take home that trophy.
1-0 count to Kinston Carson, with Avery Neves on the on-deck circle. And if you're Shenandoah, you do not want him coming across in this inning. And he may, as this ball, Martin can't get there in time to throw it to Wolford. 2 runners now on. And Avery Neves stepping up to the plate. Let's see what they
got to go error again. If they gave him an error on that last one, they got to give him an error there. So
just waiting to see.
So that's all these runs are going to be unearned in this frame. Keep extending the inning. Kind of looking at that.
Rough break for Shenandoah. Still just an out away from getting out, as this one will be popped into foul territory. Goes over by the batting cages.
Still nothing. Obviously they're having a
discussion,
intense discussion in the press box over hit or an error.
I agree with you, Scott. I think that one has to be an error. That one to me was an easier fielding play than his last errors. This one hit right to Martin, throws it over Ritter. Out number 3. So both teams score 3 runs in the second inning. We are tied at 4 heading to the top of the third. Shenandoah coming to bat. You're watching LHSN for ODAC Championship Baseball.
Welcome back to Fox Field here on the University of Lynchburg campus. ODAC Championship Baseball on LHSN. Scott Musso along with Matt McIntosh. And top of the third, all tied at 4. 6, 7, 8 for Shenandoah. Hayden Madigan, Henry Delaverne, A.J. Ward. Madigan, the only one of those 3 without a hit so far today.
Both teams have mirrored each other in the first 2 innings. Each team with 5 hits, 1 error, and 4 runs, with both teams scoring 1 run in the first and 3 in the second. So pitching or hitting's more of the battle today than pitching. That one
just outside. I was looking for the umpire to be raising his right arm on that one, and nothing doing.
Looks like the home plate umpire today is going to call those close balls to the strike zones as balls. Can't call that one a ball as Hayden Madigan swings and misses. 1-2 count.
Yeah, Madigan way out in front on that breaking ball.
Almost got the center field camera back to you guys.
Got it back, but then went a little haywire. It's not very accurate, or not very in focus. Thank you. That was the word I was looking for. As Hayden Madigan is plunked to lead off the Shenandoah third.
Kind of skips his way to first. Hobbling off that one.
Bringing Henry Delaverne up to the plate. Delaverne 1 for 1 with a single to right in the second inning. He was down 0-2, worked it back to 3-2, and then had the clean single to right field.
Today overall, we've already seen 3 batters get hit by pitch. 2 for the Shenandoah and 1 for Lynchburg. So far, I believe both have scored. No, Wolford did not score. He can get there in time. Throw to first will get there in time. So 1 out, but Madigan advances into scoring position.
Good job by Delaverne to move the runner along for A.J. Ward. Ward, the designated hitter, 1 for 1 on the day.
Madigan in scoring position, 1 out. Carson still on the mound for Lynchburg.
Lynchburg does have 2 pitchers up in the pen.
Their bullpen located behind their dugout. And they're for strike 1.
And in case anybody's wondering, I'm sure all the Lynchburg fans understand this, but if Carson should come off the mound, he will stay in the game as a designated hitter.
Which would be key for them, as I believe they gave him credit with a hit.
They did.
Yep.
They did.
Just kind of hit right to first base and took a hop off of Wolford. 0-2 count now. Neither pitcher with a strikeout today. Carson hoping to pitch the first scoreless half inning.
Okay.
Ward looking to battle back. 0-2 count. Here comes the pitch. Outside. That'll help the battle.
We could go to that center field camera, but it'd be a rumor of what was actually going on. Oh, there we go.
Might need glasses to
now we've
see
got
that
it
one.
we've got it into focus for Ward up there with a 1-2 count here, 1 out in the top of the third.
Beautiful production system here. That is a foul tip.
Both teams with 1 run in the first and 3 in the second. So that adds up to 4-4 here after 2. Shenandoah with a runner in scoring position and 1 out here for the bottom of their order. Ward, the 8-hole hitter, followed by Moon in the 9 spot.
Hoping to flip the lineup once again, get Frankie Ritter back up. We got to get a couple more runners on base in order to do that.
A little bit of work to do to get Ritter back up to the plate.
It would be his 3rd straight inning of work at the plate. He's 2 for 2. This is Ward at the plate, who works the count back to 2-2. One out. Madigan at second. Outfield and infield playing their normal positions. Infield maybe playing a bit deeper than they would, as Ward will hit this one right to third. Throw to first in time. 2 outs now. That brings Matt Moon up to the plate. He had a sacrifice bunt in his previous at-bat.
So Ward, unfortunately for the Shenandoah fans out there, did not get the job done, did not move the runner over from second to third. He hit the ball to the left side. In that situation, if you're going to make a ground out, you want to ground out to second so your runner can move up 90 more feet, maybe score on a pass ball or a wild pitch type of a situation. But now you're asking Matt Moon to get a hit here to extend this inning.
Hit to the outfield would most likely bring Madigan home. No promises, though.
He's going to be running on contact, so he runs relatively well.
First pitch was a ball. So 1-0 count. Carson with the windup and pitch. High for ball 2. Just a bit high. At about the shoulders and outside, it looked like. Here's the pitch, and they're going to say he didn't.
Fouled it off.
Interesting.
Because absolutely nobody started chasing after it. So
the umpire at second base turned around and told everyone to stay where they were. So that foul ball is the first strike of that bat. 2-1 count now. Here in the top of the third in a 4-4 ball game. Winner takes all here in this championship game, game 3. That one high for ball 3. I'm like Tiger Woods. I got my championship red on. I know his is a Sunday red, but thought I'd throw it on for Saturday.
Shenandoah wearing blue today.
Sure went with blue.
Well, you kind of had to know. They weren't doing laundry last night. They were red over white yesterday.
Good point. Full count now.
Good job by Moon. Force Carson to throw him 2 strikes. You know you're going to get a strike on 3-1, but you're also you're going to get one on 3-2 as well. So make him throw the second one. You could possibly get a free pass.
Especially with how the umpires have been today, calling those close balls as balls. So look for one definitely in the strike zone, and he will as this one hit the left field going back to the warning track, and it is a moonshot 2-run home run.
Matt Moon with his first career dinger, his first home run of his 4-year career.
And you can tell by the way the dugout is reacting with some of the developmental guys up on the dugout. Made the trip down. I've been waiting to say this all year. Moonshot by Matt Moon. Thank you, sir. I love myself puns. That's all I needed. I can go home now. See you, Scott.
Where did that come from?
My mind.
Hats off to Matt Moon. Like I said, coming into today with 0 career home runs and no longer. And that was a no-doubter. Even with Neves out there in left field climbing the fence, that one went well over his glove into the trees.
Well, we said it would take some work to get Ritter back to the plate. Here he is, 2 for 2 on the day, 2 singles. And we also said in that last at-bat, look for one in the strike zone. Definitely found it.
Yep. So that worked out perfectly. He waited, he got his pitch, and he made the most of it. I think the only person more surprised than him is me.
This one hit the shortstop position that Ritter plays, and he will run it out. 3rd single of the day.
Yep, so Frankie Ritter beating it out for his 3rd hit for now Grant Thompson, as Shenandoah scoring the 2 runs on the 2-run shot from Matt Moon. 2-run moon shot from Matt Moon.
What a inning. Lynchburg was 1 strike away from getting out of it. Now they're down by 2.
And that gets the work back up in the Lynchburg pen. Double-barreled action, as Mark Robertson would say, a lefty and a righty.
What a change of atmosphere here.
Like that.
Yeah.
It just turned on a dime. Obviously all the momentum was on the Lynchburg side of the diamond after the Lynchburg Hornets scored 3 runs in the bottom of the second inning to tie the game at 4. And now Shenandoah with 2 unexpected here, 2 outs in the top of the third.
You see the most come out players when it matters.
Exactly.
And
Exactly. This is when, obviously you're going to win a championship, you need to have you have to have production up and down the lineup, and from guys that maybe don't necessarily do it.
this one hit by Thompson. Can't tell.
It's going to go foul.
I heard some people shout foul, so it did. See the umpires holding up their hands. Once again, it's hard to see down that line.
That's about the only place we can't see, deep down the right field line, just our angle here up above home plate on the first base side, right in front of Wake Fieldhouse.
Ritter has to jog his way back to first with a smile on his face. Always a happy soul. 1-1 count.
Yes, Sydney loves herself some Frankie Ritter. Always appreciates his smile and his attitude.
Grant Thompson at the plate. I took a final in his class this week because I missed my final on Monday. Teacher let me take it Wednesday night, so I took it with Keegan and Grant on a Zoom. It's working with a 1-1 count. Ritter will steal, but this one popped up into the outfield. A couple of Lynchburg Hornets racing in for it. It'll be caught by Neves for out number 3. Thanks to a Matt Moon 2-run home run, Shenandoah takes a 2-run lead to the bottom of the third. You're watching LHSN for ODAC Championship Baseball. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Fox Field, University of Lynchburg campus, ODAC Championship Baseball on LHSN. And Matt, Kevin Anderson just shoved his chips into the middle of the table, making the pitching change, the quick pitching change, going to junior Kyle Lisa out of Cedar Knolls, New Jersey. Lisa coming into the Shenandoah program as a transfer this year. He has made 9 appearances with a 0.63 ERA in 14 and a third innings pitched. He's given up 15 hits and he has 15 strikeouts in those 14 and a third. Lisa's the guy that has been functioning as the closer, basically. You get to him in after the 7th. He'll pitch the 8th and the 9th. He's not a 1-inning guy. He's a 2 or 3 inning guy. But I think that Kevin just looked at this situation and said, you know what? I need Kyle Lisa to throw 3, 4, 5 innings, and we can maybe, if we can continue to hit and he can keep Lynchburg off the board, we can extend this lead and make it a moot point in the 7th, 8th, and 9th. And so this is the first big move out of one of the managers in this ball game. Kevin Anderson going to Kyle Lisa on the mound.
Big moment for both teams. The momentum has been traded back and forth. And one team's just looking to climb the ladder and grab it.
I think both of these teams are just looking to get out an inning without giving up any runs. As Lisa now goes to 2-1 on PJ Alvanos, the second baseman for Lynchburg. Alvanos 0 for 1 on the day.
You know, we talked about Lisa pitching later in the games, but he isn't trying to think of the word. He's pitched in this tournament, and he's made a couple appearances so far in it. So, you know, under pressure, he's definitely used to it.
Yeah, and like I said, he's been in pressure situations. He's the guy that, you know, they're gonna come to kind of close games out. The other day it was game 2 against Eastern Mennonite, a 5-4 lead. They turned it over to him, like, okay, you need to get the last 6 guys out, and he did do that in that 7-4 win.
To walk the first batter he faces, PJ Alvanos gets on base. You know, and we see managers at all levels make these, you know, pitching changes in these big games. I think of 2014, the San Francisco Giants having Madison Bumgarner pitch the final, I want to say like 5 innings of that one in Game 7 to win them the World Series. So it's all, you know, it's who's going to play chess and who's going to win it.
So right now, Lisa looking like he's struggling to find the strike zone there. He goes a 5-pitch walk to Alvanos, and now falls behind 1-0 to Collins.
I believe the last one was a full count, so 6. Could be wrong. This one will be popped up. Madigan at the warning track. He'll catch it. Had to run maybe 20 feet for that one, if that.
He hit that one pretty high in the air. You know, you just wondered how much it was going to carry in this weather.
And if it was going to maybe go foul or not.
But it stays in play. I think that ball's out of Bridgeforth.
At least with its current dimensions.
Yeah, it's its current configuration, pre-renovation this summer.
You said they're adding, what, 10 feet?
I believe so, yeah. 10 feet all the way around, and obviously converting it from the natural grass surface to an artificial infill. And it'll be completely artificial surface. There'll be no dirt anywhere, including the mound and home plate. That's kind of an evolutionary thing. I think when they first started that system, you saw there was turf everywhere except maybe the mound and home plate. And then they started to do home plate, and then when they did that, they realized, you know what, it can take the abuse. They went with the mound as well. And so it completely changes the whole aspect of field prep and how long it takes to get it ready and when you can play after a rain. You can basically play as long as it's not raining at the time of the game because it drains, 18 inches of water an hour. At least that's what at the football stadium at Sprintfield at Chantel Stadium does. And so you're going to have that same kind of drain system both at Bridgeforth and at Rotary Field for the softball program.
Nice additions to both of the fields. Here at Fox Field, 2-2 count, 1 out, 1 runner on for Lynchburg here in the bottom of the 3rd. Down by 2. Fouled off. This is Carson Atkins at the plate. He is 0 for 1. Got on base thanks to an error in the previous inning. Later came home to score. He was one of the 3 runs to score in the bottom half of the 2nd.
And obviously, Lisa hoping to roll over a double play ball.
Be the first time either team has gotten out of an inning scoreless. Full count once again. See if the crowd begins to make some noise. They've been active all day. Comes the pitch, swinging and miss for the first strikeout of the day for either team.
It looked like that was probably ball 4. A little low, skipped to Matt Moon, and Moon was able to pick it up.
Holden Fielder coming up.
Fielder with a big hit in the last inning.
He's looking to become the second catcher in this inning for either team to get some sort of hit. Maybe do what Shenandoah's catcher Matt Moon did and hit a 2-run home run. That was outside for ball one. Looked like it bounced in the dirt, or at least Matt Moon's glove did.
Yeah, I think he did spike that a little bit, but Moon short hopping it.
Even count, 1-1 after fastball over the plate. That one had some speed to it. This is a big moment in the game. 2 outs, bottom of the third. 2-1 count now. Seems like Kyle Lisa's pitching outside of the plate and low today.
Yeah, he's doing what he can to not bust him inside, keeping them.
This one fouled off. It's got the bottom of the barrel.
Vito, the 8-hole hitter in the Lynchburg lineup.
Hit a 1-out single in his previous at-bat. Looking good on base with 2 outs. Swing and a miss, and that one ends the third inning. Shenandoah holds Lynchburg scoreless in the bottom half of the third after scoring 2 in the top half. You're watching ODAC Championship Baseball on LHSN. We'll be right back for the top of the fourth.
Welcome back to ODAC Championship Baseball on LHSN. Scott Musa along with Matt McIntosh. We are heading to the top of the fourth inning. Shenandoah 6, Lynchburg 4. Shenandoah 6 runs on 7 hits, committed 1 error. Lynchburg 4 runs on 5 hits. They committed 1 error. Lynchburg starter Kinston Carson still in the ballgame, while the Shenandoah Hornets have gone to the bullpen with Kyle Lisa pitching the bottom of the third. Now here we are at the top of the fourth for Colby Martin stepping in. He's 0 for 2 against Carson.
He's got on base twice, though, both fielders' choices. Can't do that here. He has no one on base for him. This is the power of the lineup coming up. Martin and Wolford and then Booker.
Yeah. Wolford still waiting for his first official plate appearance of the day. He was hit by a pitch and walked so far this afternoon.
It's always, this one's hit to third and out. I always wonder how pitchers are going to approach Keegan Wolford.
Very carefully.
Yeah. Sometimes they're too careful and they do throw one right over the plate.
Yeah, I think that's one of those situations with Wolford. There's obviously a scouting report on him. He's got a hole in his bat somewhere. Mm-hmm. But all you're doing is hoping not to make a mistake. You don't want to leave something out over the plate where he can extend his hands because it's gonna be deposited on the other side of the fence.
Usually pulls his home runs, not too many opposite fields. Yeah. And when he hits them, they're gone.
Yes. He doesn't hit too many cheapies. Usually when he makes contact, it's kind of one of these things where we're like, okay, that's number whatever on the season.
or on his career. Depends which you want to look at.
I should mention he is the all-time leader at Shenandoah University in home runs with 43. He broke the record that was previously held by Scott Van Dusseldorp and Corey Nelson. Corey, a good friend of the broadcast, helping us out game operations, doing some scoring during the year. He's a member of the Shenandoah University staff. He's a budget analyst for the university.
And possibly the only one that didn't want to see Keegan break that record or tie it at any point. Corey, a 4-year starter, who's part of the World Series teams in 2009 and 2010 as a freshman and sophomore, and he's still very close to a number of his teammates, and they have a text string that they go back and forth every day, and Corey has indicated that those guys do not miss an opportunity to remind him that Keegan has passed him and bust his chops about it. It's not even close at this point.
No. And Corey keeps, he'll go back and look at it and say, you know what? Yeah, I mean, Keegan deserves it. He's played less games. I mean, it does stick in his craw a little bit that Keegan came back because of the pandemic. Corey thought maybe he had a miracle that Keegan didn't pass him last year. He was one away when the pandemic hit and the rest of the season was canceled.
Shenandoah played 12 games last year. Here's a swing and a miss, and he'll strike out for out number 2. That is Carson's first strikeout of the day.
So Carson now 1 out away from recording his first scoreless inning of the afternoon. Lynchburg's had a couple of guys up in the pen now for 3 innings. They're not throwing nearly as frequently as they were previous, but they have to be ready if they decide they want to make a pitching change. In talking to Max here, we were maybe postulating that this would be the last inning for Kinston Carson. If he gave him 4, that would be a pretty good outing, and then he can concentrate on hitting the rest of the day.
One drops in the dirt, 2-0 count.
It's a hot day out there. My watch says 88 degrees, and it feels every degree of that.
Got the fan blowing on my back. I'm not sure if you can feel it, Scott. It feels nice to me.
Yeah. It is nice, but that fan's not in here for us. That's to keep the computers cool, so we can continue to have this broadcast. You want to keep the production truck software, easy for me to say, running on that computer. As Booker takes another strike, now 2-1, and swings through that one, 2-2.
Looking for the first 1-2-3 inning of the game for either team. Not easy to come across for either pitching staff. That one thrown high, full count. Big pitch coming up. 3-2 count, 2 outs, no one on. Hayden Madigan will be the next Shenandoah Hornet to bat. Swing and a miss, and that one ends the top of the 4th. 1-2-3 inning, heading to the bottom of the 4th. Still 6-4. You're watching ODAC Championship Baseball on LHSN.
All right, we're back here, Fox Field on the University of Lynchburg campus. Bottom of the fourth, Shenandoah 6, Lynchburg 4 in this ODAC championship game. And the bottom of the 9-1-2, in the Lynchburg lineup against Shenandoah reliever Kyle Lisa. Long, Lane, and Jackson. Long 0 for 1 as he steps in here against Lisa.
Next two batters up, Lane and Jackson both haven't hit on their day. This one carrying well, going back, and it is off of Hayden Madigan's lower glove. And that is a stand-up double to begin the inning for Ryan Long. That one just needed about 2 more inches to get out of there. And Hayden Madigan also almost robbed his second home run of the series.
Madigan gave it a good effort. He just he had too far to run to catch up to that ball. So Lynchburg with a little something going here now in the bottom of the fourth on a leadoff double for Long. And that brings Cameron Lane, the right fielder, who is 1 for 1 to the plate. Lane was the man hit by the pitch and eventually scored in the bottom of the first inning for Lynchburg's first run of the game. Lynchburg's next 4 hitters, Lane, Jackson, Carson, and Neves, all with at least 1 hit on the day.
Strike 1 thrown. Lane had a triple, which brought in multiple runs for Lynchburg. 2 in that bottom of the second, which tied the game at 4. Right now, it's a 6-4 game. No swing and miss at that one. Quick 0-2 count. Pitcher's count. See what Kyle Lisa does with.
He's going to waste at least 1, if not 2 pitches here.
Don't want anything easy to hit, especially with a runner in scoring position. We want to keep this game a 2-run game, as this one will carry foul, kind of curved. The very little amount of wind helped that one.
Yeah, had some backspin on that one, twisting it foul. Had some fans in front of us who were praying for it to get down as it was still in play, but went. I don't know. It was in foul territory by a good 12, 15 feet.
Oh, 0-2 count, high for ball 1. Just wasted that pitch, just seeing if Lane would swing at something high.
Yeah, he's going to see if he can chase something.
Swing and a miss, strikeout. That is the 3rd strikeout of the day for Kyle Lisa, and just an inning and a 3rd. So 3 of the 4 outs he's gotten have come by way of strikeout, and that's why Coach A put him in the game. Garrett Jackson stepping up to the plate, 1 for 2. Had a single in the second inning. One thrown away and low for ball 1. 1-0 count.
You can hear that wind in our microphones coming through the booth here. We got with the door open, trying to get some airflow through here.
This one popped up over our heads. Foul. 1-1. You have the designated hitter and pitcher, Kinston Carson, in the on-deck circle. He is 1 for 2 with a ground out and a single. 2-1 count after that one was thrown just a bit outside. Shenandoah has 7 hits, while Lynchburg has 6. Each team committing 1 error, as this one will once again carry foul.
Just foul. Got a lot of people listening in. I've heard from a bunch of people. I do want to give a shout out to one of my favorite all-time work study and interns, Renula Griffin, a new mom. Her son Bennett Scott. I know that the Scott is not after me, but my wife CK and I have been joking about that. We would tell Renula and her husband Matt that we appreciated that they named their first child, or gave the middle name after me. So want to shout out, I know they're listening and watching the ball game.
Appreciate everyone listening and watching. You Lynchburg fans probably aren't used to hearing our two voices. And there is a full count walk. 2 runners now on for Kinston Carson.
Carson 1 for 2 on the day. What that does do, though, is it returns the double play to being in order. I think that's one of those things, depending on your worldview, is it a good thing or a bad thing? The glass is half empty. You're like, you issued another walk, and again, there's 2 guys on now. Glass is half full. Now you can throw an ending double play.
This is the second walk of the day for Kyle Lisa. His first batter he faced, PJ Alvanos, was walked. No. Throw that pitch high for ball 1. So 1-1 count now. 1 out. 2 on. Long at second. Jackson at first. Long led off this inning with a double that just bounced off of the fence. Strike 2. Just one big swing away from taking the lead if you're Lynchburg, or hit into the gap to tie it up. And there is a swing and a miss for strike 3 and strikeout number 2 of the inning, 4th of the day for Kyle Lisa.
So Lisa working his way, but it doesn't get any easier as Neves steps to the plate. Avery Neves 1 for 2 as Coach Kevin Anderson is going to come out of the dugout for his 3rd mound visit of the day. Have a little conversation with Mr. Lisa and how they're going to pitch to Neves. Again, this is one of those pivotal situations where, okay, you got, first and second with 2 outs. You can get yourself out of this inning without any damage done. Not only have you maintained the lead, but now you're probably 2 innings away from Neves coming back up to the plate. It'll be the 6th inning, maybe, or even in a perfect world, be the 7th inning before he steps up again. So it's hypercritical that you be very, very careful with this guy. You don't want him to beat you, knowing that Alvanos, Collins, Atkins are a combined 0 for 5 behind Neves. This kid he's driven in more runs this season than anybody in ODAC history. So this is not the guy you want to see up to the plate if you're a Shenandoah fan in this situation.
This ball game is like an ODAC all-star game if you look at the talent on both teams.
Well, it should be. These are, I think,
2 best teams in ODAC.
Yeah, I think, and from my biased point of view, these are the best 2 teams in the league, and so it should be like an all-star game.
And 2 of the top teams in the nation, Shenandoah's ranked. Lynchburg ranked, Scott?
They are actually ranked in the region, not in the
top 25.
Not in the top 25.
This ball gets away from Moon, and both runners will advance. So that puts 2 runners in scoring position now. Long goes to 3rd, and Jackson goes to 2nd. So each pitch gets bigger and bigger at this point. Any sort of hit can bring in the tying run. This one hit foul. Not just hit, that one was line foul. A heater. So 1-2 is our count with 2 outs, 2 on, and a 2-run ball game in the bottom half of the 4th. Lisa winds up, pitch, hit, well hit. To the outfield going back. The ball will diving catch. Oh my goodness. Wait, did he catch that?
Yeah, he caught it.
He caught it.
He got it.
They're calling him out. That is Henry Delvern out there in center field doing his job. We head to the top of the 5th Shenandoah 6, Lynchburg 4. You're watching ODAC Championship Baseball on LHSN.
ODAC Championship Baseball here on LHSN. Scott Musa along with Matt McIntosh, and we saw one of the best defensive plays of the year as Henry Delaverne ranges far to his right. He goes from right center to left center, lays out and robs Neves of a sure two-run double at least. The game would have been tied up, but Shenandoah maintains its 6-4 lead as we've completed 4 innings now. It's top of the 5th, and Hayden Madigan, easy for me to say, stepping in here against Lynchburg starter Kinston Carson. Carson has obviously gone all the way. 6 runs, 5 of those earned on 7 hits and 1 walk against 2 strikeouts in the first 4 innings.
Madigan 0 for 1. He'll hit this one to left field. Carrying. Foul? Yep, foul. And Delver not liking that call. He's jumping around.
But, hey, you know what? Kevin Anderson's kind of giving the third base umpire the what for.
Yeah.
But you've got the third base umpire and the home plate umpire. They're both looking straight down the line, and they've got the,
Oh, they're going to come talk? Are they going?
Matt, if they overturn this call, this place is going to go nuts.
Oh.
They're going to go absolutely nuts.
Questionable call at the end of the top half of this, or bottom half of the 4th, that the fans did not like.
Oh boy! I mean, if they overturn this and give Madigan a home run, I'm telling you, look out, because this place is gonna go crazy.
They're gonna talk about it, and looks like they have a call. Foul.
Yeah, I think that's the right call. I mean, I'm a little bit off the line here.
I thought it was foul.
I thought it was foul as well. But like I said, you've got the third base umpire who's standing right on the line where he's supposed to be, and you've got the home plate umpire who's standing on the line backing him up. If those guys can't agree on that, then they've got some serious issues because they're not in the right place. They're not in the position to make the proper call.
Well, and you want a championship game or any game called right down the middle. And, I think for the benefit of both teams and all the fans, that one was called foul.
Correctly.
Yes.
Undoubtedly.
Yes.
The umpires did their job.
So 1-1 count now. Moves to 2-1. No one out. That would have been Madigan's 8th home run?
Ninth.
Okay.
It was his 9th home run of the year.
If the wind was not blowing that direction of any sort, that may have been fair, but that's in the past now. 2-1 count here in the present. And he gets a hold of this one into the gap, and it'll drop, adding to his hit totals on the season. He will round first, heads to second. Now not stopping at second, heading to third. Helmet falls off, slides in time. Ball gets away. He will stay there. That is a triple to lead off the top half of the 5th for Hayden Madigan. Almost as good as a home run.
Yep. What do you think's coming, Matt?
A bunt.
Yeah, squeeze.
Squeeze, yeah.
Here comes a squeeze.
Especially with Delaware up at the plate. Yeah.
Yep, this is a squeeze.
Yeah. Hopefully Lynchburg's on their scouting report, which they have. The infield's in. This is the.
You got a guy on third base with pretty good speed. You got a batter who's got good control of the bat, who's already has one sacrifice bunt on the day. In a tight ball game.
Oh, Matt Moon had the other sacrifice bunt.
Delaverne bunted him over early.
Oh.
That one from Madigan from first to second.
That's right.
In the inning, we didn't score. And so now Travis Beasley makes the stroll out to the mound to talk to his entire defense for the University of Lynchburg. They want to kind of discuss this because they have also scouted Kevin Anderson and they know what he is thinking. And so they want to make sure they're all on the same page if this happens. So this is the right decision. You need to be proactive rather than reactive. This is why you put in all this work off the diamond. While you look at scouting reports, watch film, try to identify tendencies. They're going to sit there, going to discuss this, and ultimately going to make a change on the hill.
No, wait. Nope, never mind.
What?
Oh, another pitcher coming in. Wrong guy. Well, no. Can they not change? What is going on?
And now Lucas Jones, the manager, is going to step out and say, "Hey, wait a minute. Now this is bad, because if they've called for one guy and put him in the game and then go to the other one, they've burned an extra guy. So they got to make sure that they get this right in terms of who they were asking for, lefty versus righty."
Some fans not liking the conversation that umpire's going to have. Officials are not the favorite in any place.
No, and what you're looking for the from the umpires is you want them to be seen but not heard. And and what they want to have happen is if the game ends and nobody talks about what they did, then that's a win for them. So they're going to talk about this for a second, and they're all right. So now they're going to call the guy in. I believe it's the first one.
That is, see if we can get a number.
I think that's 42. That's Hodling. He pitched yesterday, I believe. Yep. 24, not 42. This is Grayson Thurman. Thurman is the kid who pitched yesterday for 2/3 of an inning. He kind of struggled a little bit with his control and ended up being the losing pitcher in that game one. So going right back to him, getting him right back up on the horse. This is the kid who pitched 6 innings against Bridgewater in the game 3 and had 12 strikeouts. So when he's on, he's very, very good. It's just like Mark and I talked about yesterday. Where is he from an arm standpoint? Is he completely recovered and ready to go, or does he have any kind of lingering fatigue from that long outing that he had a week ago against Bridgewater? So, like I said, yesterday it did not work out for him. Ended up came in, the bases were loaded. He walked 3 guys with the bases loaded and hit another guy. And Matt Moon had a single in there. So the Shenandoah scored 5 runs, but only with 1 hit. Lynchburg really made it, I don't want to say easy for Shenandoah, but they gifted the Shenandoah Hornets 4 runs by issuing 3 bases loaded walks and plunking a guy with the bases drunk. So Thurman comes in. He is 4-3 on the season with 2 saves, 40 and 1/3 innings pitched, 74 strikeouts. That's 16.51 strikeouts per 9 innings, and he has a 4.02 ERA. So this is a guy, when he's on, he's very, very good. And Shenandoah needs to be hyper-aggressive against him early in the count.
So Henry Delvern steps into the batter's box, 1 for 2 on the day, single and a ground out. He has Hayden Madigan on third after a leadoff triple. So no one out.
And I think I know what the problem was on the sub, because Thurman wears 24 and Hodling wears 42, and I think they were calling the both of them, and it was like, if you have a little bit of dyslexia there, which guy are you talking about? So.
Swing and miss, and that's why he has such high strikeout numbers, because he can get guys to swing and miss. So 0-1 count. Infield is playing in. Let's see if Delvern lays down for a bunt. A squeeze. And he will not swing and a miss again. 0-2 count. So now you gotta definitely be careful if you're gonna lay down a bunt, because if it goes foul, it's a strikeout. Waiting for the call from the catcher. Thurman winds up, pitch, and the dirt gets away. Madigan will stay where he is, though.
So Thurman spiked 3 balls so far, and Delaverne swung at the first 2.
Almost swung at that one, but I was getting ready to say strikeout. But good job holding back if you are Delaverne. And a blooper, could bring home the run too, especially with this infield playing extremely in. They're almost on the grass. Swing and miss. They'll have to tag him out.
And so Delaverne goes down on strikes as Coach Anderson comes down. I'm not sure what happened with Delaverne. He swung at the pitch, and then he kind of turned around and looked at the umpire, did not run at all because the ball was not, it wasn't fielded by the catcher, so he should have been running to first base and making them make a play there. That didn't happen, and so whether he thought that his bat hit the catcher's glove or whatever, I'm not sure. That's why I kind of went a little bit quiet there. I wanted to see what was going on, but regardless of...
It's a 4-pitch strikeout.
Yep, it was a strikeout, and now 1 out for A.J. Ward, the designated hitter, and Shenandoah is still with that runner on third base. And Lynchburg continuing to play with the infield in.
This one will be fouled off. That hit the lower half of Ward's bat. If Lynchburg can get out of this inning after allowing a leadoff triple, that would be huge.
It would. If they can prevent Shenandoah from extending its lead, which is obviously what their whole entire goal here is.
0-2 count, 1 out. A.J. Ward at the plate. Thurman on the mound, swing and a miss. 2 outs now here in the top half of the 5th inning. Brings up Matt Moon, who had his first career home run in his previous at-bat, which were the last runs scored in this game. Moving the lead for the Shenandoah Hornets to 2. And the current score is 6-4. Madigan on third, 2 outs after 2 straight strikeouts. Over the plate, strike 1.
Again, you're just looking for Matt Moon to put the bat on the baseball. Obviously, depending on him to get a hit. Last time, he came up with the biggest of them all, a 2-run home run.
That one inside for a ball. So far, it looks like Thurman, his game's on.
Yeah, like I said yesterday, it looked like he had a little bit of lingering fatigue, and he really struggled with finding the plate. But so far today, the 2 strikeouts, albeit I think that Henry Delaverne helped him out. I think he swung at three balls, but regardless, he is now 2 strikes away from getting out of this inning without any damage done against his team.
And Carson, the starter for Lynchburg, if Madigan does come home to score, that run will go earned towards him.
Correct.
Towards his stat line. 3-1 count now.
He's responsible for...
That's the word I was looking for.
It's charged against him, yes. So now 3-1 to Moon. And you really don't want to put Moon on because that brings Frankie Ritter up to the plate, and Ritter 3 for 3 on the day.
And Ritter comes to the plate.
He does do that.
So maybe he spoke too soon about his game being on. He does allow a walk there, but still 2 outs. Runners on the corner for Frankie Ritter. 3 for 3. He has come home to score twice today.
And I think if you're Shenandoah, knowing that this kid threw a lot of pitches 6 days ago, and then pitched 2/3 of an inning yesterday. You really want him. Okay, he's going to be on adrenaline a little bit to start with, but you want to get him through that and force him to continue to work.
That one was high for ball one. Relievers, not known for going 6 innings a lot, and
no, but they had to do what they had to do to get themselves to this weekend.
Swung on and missed by Ritter. 1-1.
The tough thing about this broadcast location is when people decide to stand right in front of you and completely get in the way.
Ritter went around, the umpires are going to say. So 1-2 count now, 2 outs, 2 runners on for Shenandoah. And swung on and missed. Throw to first will be there in time. 3 strikeouts for 3 outs here in the top half of the 5th. Score remains the same, 6-4. Shenandoah with the lead. You're watching ODAC Championship Baseball on LHSN.
You're listening to ODAC Championship Baseball here on LHSN. Scott Musa along with Matt McIntosh. Here we are, middle of the 5th. Shenandoah 6, Lynchburg 4. Shenandoah 6 runs on 8 hits. 8 hits, 1 error. Lynchburg 4 runs on 6 hits. They had 1 error as Shenandoah reliever Kyle Lisa's going to face PJ Alvanos here in the last of the 5th. Alvanos now up 1-0.
Alvanos 0 for 1 on the day. Was walked back in the 3rd inning. It was only Lynchburg Hornet to get on base in that inning. There's a 2-0 count to work with now. After 2 straight balls. Wind is picking up here. So is the strike count. 2-1 now. So both relievers for each team come in and done big things as the count evens up after that ball was fouled back. Thurman struck out 3 batters for Lynchburg in the top half of this inning after a leadoff triple by Hayden Madigan. This one hit, and it'll drop for a single.
Clean single to left field. I think if Frankie Ritter was playing in the hole, he might have been able to catch that ball, but he was playing kind of up the middle as Collins now steps in. Collins, the Lynchburg 3rd baseman, 0 for 2 on the day. A 6-hole hitter in the lineup.
Strike one, outside half of the plate.
As Lynchburg now playing with the 10-man lineup as Carson moves from pitcher to the DH role, taking advantage of the college version of the designated hitter rule. Can't do that in the major leagues, but it's a pretty common thing in college. Shenandoah takes advantage of that when Colby Martin pitches.
Colby Martin.
As a starter, not as a reliever. When he's a reliever, they lose the DH, but they let him obviously hit for himself.
Strike two, 1-2 count now.
Greg Van Sickler, former Shenandoah great. He was a pitcher DH basically his entire career. Corey Nelson did that a lot in his senior year. Kevin kind of feels like that's something that you got to have. You got to be pretty mature. You got to have the mental capacity to kind of separate those two things when you're supposed to be pitching. So doesn't try to do that too much with the younger guys. He waits till they're a little bit more seasoned to have them do both of those things at the same time.
This one hit to center field. Delvern under it. Doesn't really have to move for out number one. Easier than the last catch he made.
Yeah, the last catch he made for the last out of the inning, and I think that's looming enormous in this ball game right now, because I think we are certainly looking at a 6-6 game if Delvern doesn't come up and make that catch.
Early on in the first two innings, the teams mirrored each other when it came to scoring hits and errors. Each team scored 1 in the first, 3 in the second to make the game 4-4, and then a Matt Moon home run in the top half of the third made this ball game a 6-4 game in favor of Shenandoah, and that's where we stand at the moment. This one in the dirt. Runner will advance to second standing up. That is Alvanos.
Can't spike it in that situation. It takes the double play out of order.
And we've seen that multiple times by each side today.
Yep. Every time, it seems like every time that happens against Shenandoah, Lynchburg makes Shenandoah pay.
Ooh, fouled off. Just late swing there, hit the bottom of his bat. 1-2 count now. Shenandoah hoping that doesn't make them pay here. Looking to head to the top half of the sixth, still with the lead.
A little high, 2-2.
Middle innings are huge in any game and playing a factor here. Each team has been held scoreless the last couple innings.
Shenandoah not scoring in the fourth and fifth. Lynchburg held off the board in the third and fourth.
Swing and miss. And a strikeout for out number 2. That is the 5th batter to strike out with Kyle Lisa on the mound. The 5th Lynchburg Hornet overall to strike out. Each team has struck out 5 times. Kinston Carson, the starter for Lynchburg, has 2 strikeouts for Lynchburg. As this one hit to left field, Madigan gets under it for out number 3. Once again, Lynchburg's held scoreless, and we head to the top half of the 6th. Shenandoah 6, Lynchburg 4. You're watching ODAC Championship Baseball on LHSN.
Perfect. Welcome back to Fox Field on the University of Lynchburg campus. Scott Musa along with Matt McIntosh. We are top of the 6th here in this ODAC baseball championship game. Shenandoah 6, Lynchburg 4. Got a score update from the lacrosse quarterfinals for you Lynchburg fans out there that you might be interested in. The host Salisbury Seagulls snuck out a 30-5 victory over Illinois Wesleyan in the national quarterfinals. So the Lynchburg Hornets, who were going to take on Christopher Newport University at 4, or they just started, should have started 8 minutes ago. It was a 4 o'clock first face-off. The winner of that game will take on the host Seagulls for the right to play in the national championship game. That game tomorrow at Seagull Stadium in Salisbury, Maryland, on the beautiful eastern shore of Maryland. Probably about a 6-hour ride from here in Lynchburg, Virginia, in the middle of the Commonwealth. As we mentioned, it's now the top of the 6th, and Lynchburg reliever Grayson Thurman, who came on last inning and struck out the side after a leadoff triple from Hayden Madigan. He will take on Grant Thompson, Colby Martin, and Keegan Wolford from the Shenandoah lineup.
Doesn't get much harder than this if you are a pitcher facing these 3 guys, 2 seasoned veterans, and Grant Thompson and Keegan Wolford. And then sandwiched right in the middle of them is the young star Colby Martin. Staples that hold this offense together. Big part of the success here. And Grant Thompson and Keegan Wolford, huge parts of the last 2 ODAC championships for Shenandoah.
And so now Thurman misses with his first 2 offerings. High there for ball 2. And I think you're going to see a little bit more of this from Shenandoah, where they're going to be super patient against Thurman.
2-1 count. That one over the plate, like on the inside half. We're kind of at an angle of the home plate here. Just down the first base side.
Breaking ball in there for strike 2. So Thurman finding the zone on 2 consecutive pitches.
Had 3 strikeouts in the previous inning. This one hit, chopped just over the head of Thurman. Throw to first will not be in time. Grant Thompson will get on first base with an infield single, and another moment here that the fans will not like.
That's one of those 50-50 calls. I mean, it was a tough spot for Thurman. It was just over his head, and the ball was not hit real hard, so it wasn't moving, which made it even more difficult for P.J. Alvanos to come in and make that throw across his body to first base. A bang-bang play. Grant Thompson running well down the first base line, so he beats it out for his 2nd hit of the day.
After missing game 2 yesterday with cramps, probably not a factor on that run, as this one hit to right field. Thompson will stay at 2nd, and that is a 1-pitch single for Colby Martin.
So Martin extending his hitting streak now to 16 games, and I believe that he has been on base in just all but 2 games this year, I want to say. I mean, it's really kind of amazing, the offensive production that Martin has had this season. So now 1st and 2nd with nobody out for Keegan Wolford. Normally in this situation, Kevin Anderson 100% will bunt. But when you have your all-time home run leader up to the plate, I think he's going to let him swing the bat in this spot.
And he will. This one just a floater right to second base for out number 1.
And now Kevin's kicking himself for not making him bunt.
If you are Lynchburg, maybe took a deep breath when you saw him swing, and then exhaled when you just realized that one popped up into the infield.
A lazy fly ball, not even a fly ball, pop fly.
Yeah.
Into not even short right, I don't think. I think that Alvanos maybe a step or 2 onto the grass to make that catch and get the first out of the inning. And now Pierce Booker, 0 for 3 on the day, stepping in for Shenandoah.
that one was thrown high. Booker grounded out and then grounded into a fielder's choice and a strikeout in his 3 at-bats today. Shenandoah definitely doesn't want any sort of ground ball here because you can get the force out at all bags. With Thompson at second right now and Martin at first.
You see Thompson with that lead from that center field shot.
Takes one stride towards third, but that ball is fouled off.
Just want to, again, thank all the good people here in the Lynchburg Athletic Department. They worked hard to get that center field camera back working again. They had a little bit of an issue with its autofocus, and once they got it back working or on again and broadcasting, or transmitting, I guess is the best way to say it, they couldn't get it in focus, but they worked through the issue, and now you've got a 3-camera view for this championship game.
Wonderful host for this weekend. So 1-1 count, 1 out, 2 on here in the top half of the 6th. A 2-run ball game. This one hit through the gap, or through the infield. Thompson will round third to come home to score. Shenandoah has a 3-run lead now.
Hitting them where they ain't, and Pierce Booker with a seeing eye single through the left side to score.
Of course I say that Shenandoah doesn't want a ground ball, and he hits one right on the ground. I'm looking at that one. Please go into the outfield. Roll a bit faster, and it did.
Yes, and Grant Thompson running on contact. It was right in front of him, so he could see what the situation was. He never stopped. He was able to score standing up. And now Hayden Madigan, who is 1 for 2 on the day, with another opportunity to drive in a run, as Colby Martin is on second base here with 1 out in the top of the 6th inning. Shenandoah now 7-4 lead, 7 runs on 11 hits, 1 error. Lynchburg 4 runs, 7 hits, also with 1 miscue.
Madigan, one of these young offensive and defensive stars for the Hornets. Shenandoah.
Another COVID freshman.
Yep.
A Winchester native. Millbrook High School.
Correct.
Played for Brian Burke, also a former Shenandoah baseball player. A member of the Iron Nine, playing back in the late 80s when the university brought back, I guess it was Shenandoah College back then, brought back the program. And they had 9 guys who basically played every inning of every game under Coach Todd Held.
That was just a bit before your time, Scott.
Yes. I
Good decade and a half.
I got to Shenandoah in August of '92, and that was a balk. What we kind of just talked right through there. What Thurman did was they had a play on where they were going to turn around and try to throw the big pickoff play at second base, and Alvanos didn't get even close to second base, and so that's an attempt to deceive the runner, and that is called as a balk. So everybody moves up 90 feet, and now Madigan with the opportunity to drive in 2 runs with a hit. And Lynchburg bringing the infield in because they obviously have to cut everything down at the plate.
This one hit right to third. Throw to first in time for out number 2, a big out in this situation.
Yep, I think, if Madigan, if he hits that ball 2 feet or 3 feet to the right of Collins at third base, Collins can't make a play on it, but it was 1 step to Collins' right. He able to snare it and throw Madigan out at first base. And so Lynchburg now can put the infield back and maybe get out of this without any additional damage, just the 1 run scored. As Henry Delaverne, who is 1 for 2 on the day, steps in.
0 for 1 against Thurman. Good
call, Matt. Delaverne was the first hitter that Thurman faced an inning ago, or 2 innings ago, excuse me.
Inning ago.
Yeah, an inning ago.
It's been a long day.
And Delaverne was hyper aggressive in that at bat, swinging at a ball in the dirt, and he has not learned his lesson because he just did the same exact thing. So,
see if he swings again here. He will, but foul off. Bit Bit ahead, I believe, of that one also.
Yeah, but he's so so aggressive. He knows he's going to swing before that ball even leaves Thurman's hand, and I think that Thurman has played into that a little bit. He spiked. I think if he's thrown 6, 7, 8 pitches to Deliver, and just about every one of them has been spiked in the dirt.
Well, Delvern's done that all year. He is a swinger. Strikeout numbers are high, and he'll add to that one. Shenandoah scores 1 here in the top of the 6th to advance their lead 7-4. We're heading to the bottom of the 6th. You're watching ODAC Championship Baseball on LHSN.
We're back here, Fox Field, University of Lynchburg, ODAC Championship Baseball game. Bottom of the 6th, and the score is Shenandoah 7, Lynchburg 4. Shenandoah 7 runs on 11 hits, has 1 error. Lynchburg 4 runs on 7 hits, and also 1 error. A score update for you. In the latter portion of the first quarter, about 4 minutes to go in the first. Over in Salisbury, Maryland, it's Lynchburg 4 and Lynchburg 3 and Christopher Newport 1. So all of you Lynchburg fans out there who are rooting on the Lynchburg men's lacrosse Hornets under the direction of Steve Kadelka have a pretty good start for that one, up 2 goals on the captains early. And so here we are in the bottom of the 6th as Shenandoah reliever Kyle Lisa will step in here against the 9-1-2 in the Lynchburg lineup.
And that one just hit foul, just a couple feet.
Shortstop Ryan Long.
Just a couple feet foul of the third base bag. He's 1 for 2. His only hit was a double back in the 4th inning. And he will add to his hit totals with a single just past the glove of Pierce Booker at third.
So reliever Kyle Lisa starting his 4th inning of work, and that is the 3rd hit he has given up. He has 2 walks and 5 strikeouts as Cameron Lane, the right fielder and the leadoff hitter in the Lynchburg lineup, steps in. Lynchburg's going to actually make a change here at first base. They're going to send in a pinch runner.
I believe that's number 6.
Yeah.
Number 6.
Yes, that is. I just want to make sure that I get
Parker Schaefer.
Parker Schaefer, who was the starter in the outfield yesterday. Schaefer, I believe he was playing right field, and he hit his first career home run yesterday. So he re-enters the game now, or enters into this game as a pinch runner here in the bottom of the 6th inning.
So 1 on, no one out after the leadoff single. Strike 1 to Cameron Lane, who is just 1 for 2. Had a triple back in the 2nd, was hit by a pitch to lead off this game in the bottom of the 1st, and then struck out in the 4th inning. He will foul this one back. Pitcher's count 0-2, no one out.
Fortunately, not doing a pitch count, so I can't tell you where Lisa is in terms of that. But he's looking still pretty strong, well within himself on the hill.
Just have a handful of strikeouts today and will add to his totals with a 3-pitch strikeout for out number 1. I believe that's his 6th.
Yes, it is his 6th strikeout in 3+ innings of work. So
Garrett Jackson, number 21, the first baseman for Lynchburg today.
He's 1 for 2.
He was walked in his only at-bat against Kyle Lisa today.
One of 2 walks that Lisa has issued this afternoon.
Watch your cars. That one bounced. Hopefully didn't hit anyone's car.
At least on the first bounce. You don't know what happened on the second one.
Well, it was away from your car, Scott. Don't worry.
Yesterday I had pretty much the pick of the litter in terms of parking spots down here. Today I got here a little bit later and I was like, I'm not sure about this one, but I went with it.
I parked at the top of the hill, walk down a couple flights of stairs.
That's much safer.
Yeah. I asked where I should park. I was told up there, so good choice by me. As this one also hit back towards the cars. Wrong way you're swinging there, bud. You want to swing for the fences, not the cars. 1-2 count. 1 out. At least he's making contact. I know if I was up there in the box, I would be swinging a miss each time.
That's one of those things you don't realize how freaky scary that is.
And he made contact with this one. Caught by Grant Thompson. Throwback to first is in. Time for a double play. The fans not liking it. Shenandoah's loving it. Keegan Wolford getting some love from his teammates. So is Grant Thompson. Heading to the top of the 7th. Shenandoah 7, Lynchburg 4. You're watching ODAC Championship Baseball on LHSN.
All right, we're back here, Fox Field, University of Lynchburg. Top of the 7th inning, 7-4. The score remains Shenandoah over Lynchburg. Shenandoah ending the bottom of the 6th on a 9-3 double play, very close at first base. As the throw was a little bit off, and Keegan Wolford did all he could to keep his foot on the base and catch the ball. He wasn't able to do that, but he got his foot down before the runner got back to first, and as a result, it was an ending double play, and we are here at the top of the 7th as Jackson Foreman is going to step in as a pinch hitter for A.J. Ward. A lacrosse score at the end of 1, it's Lynchburg 4 and Christopher Newport 1.
So we've seen Shenandoah come up with 2 huge defensive plays to end the last couple of innings. Delver making a diving catch in center field back about 2 or 3 innings ago, and then, of course, that 9-3 double play. And Foreman will chop this one right to first. There'll be a 3-1 ground out for out 1.
As Thurman did a nice job getting himself off the mound. Like Mark and I were talking about yesterday, he struggles keeping his hat on his head, and he went over there hatless, but successfully caught the ball and stepped on first base ahead of Jackson Foreman for the first out of the inning. That brings Matt Moon to the plate. Moon 1 for 1 with the 2-run dinger. So far, the difference in this ball game. Shenandoah did add 1 run in the top of the 6th inning to extend its lead to 3. Again, like Mark Robertson and I talked about yesterday, Shenandoah's philosophy, 2-5-10. You get a 2-run lead. Kevin looks at them and says, all right, we need to extend that to 5. And then when you get to 5, he wants to extend it to 10. So the guys have still some work to do with this 3-run advantage and not taking their foot off the gas by any stretch of the imagination.
1-2 count now to Matt Moon, who had a sacrifice bunt back in the 2nd inning before his 2-run home run in the next inning. And then was walked back 2 innings ago in the 5th. So no one on. He will take a swing at this one, and that one gets down in between short and second for a single. Moves his totals to 2 for 2 today, home run and a single now.
And they'll bring Frankie Ritter up to the plate, and Ritter 3 for 4 on the day. Ritter's beaten out had a couple clean singles, beaten out an infield single, and then he struck out in his last at-bat, I believe.
You are correct. He'll lay down a bunt. That one goes foul, though. Hits the backstop. University of Lynchburg definitely used to winning ODAC championships in all sports. They have quite a few this spring.
I believe it is a school record 8 that they have won, but obviously this last one to be determined. You've got their men's lacrosse team playing in the national quarterfinals today. Baseball team in the ODAC championship, and the host of track athletes getting ready for the national championships this coming week down at North Carolina A&T in Greensboro, North Carolina. Lynchburg and Lynchburg and Washington and Lee, the 2 big behemoths in the ODAC in terms of winning championships. They are always 1 and 2 in the Commissioner's Cup.
For how often we play CNU, you would think they're part of the ODAC, a school that...
Fortunately, that'll never happen, as Christopher Newport is a state school, and that is right in the league's charter, that it is private institutions only.
Or along the East Coast down there, as this one hits in the dirt. Doesn't know which way the ball is going, and Matt Moon advances to second. Just bounced off of the catcher's mask and went one way as he goes the other.
Yeah, and that's really the only way I think you could take an extra base on a wild pitch, because when a ball gets behind the catcher and it hits the backstop, it hits that even if it hits the pad, it's coming back. It's such a short distance back there here at Fox Field that you really can't. It's not an automatic to take a base.
2-2 count as Ritter gets a hold of this one. Takes a hop in the dirt before going into the first baseman's glove for out number 2. 3-1 ground out again.
But Ritter doing his job. Get him up, get him on, get him over, get him in. And Ritter with 1 out moves the runner over, Matt Moon, to third base. And so, again, we've talked about this. The wild pitch allows that to happen because Moon was at second base, so he was easily able to take third on the ball hit to the right side of the infield. So Grant Thompson now stepping in, 2 for 4 on the day. If Thompson can get himself another hit, the Shenandoah will be able to extend its lead even more.
Well, and that wild pitch comes into play, like you said, because where that ball was hit, that could have been turned for a double play, potential maybe 1-6-3 or 1-4-3, or sorry, 3-6-1.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
2-0 count.
I knew what you meant, and everybody
Thank
listening
you.
knew what you meant.
Thank you. I always think of the one spot as first base, but no, it's the pitcher, guys. 2-0 count, 2 out, 1 on.
So often when you're teaching somebody to score, you go, all right, pitcher's 1, catcher's 2, and you work your way around, and everybody gets confused why third base is 5 and shortstop is 6. But just accept it. That's the way it is.
Also, it sounds better when you say like a 6-4-3 double play. Swing on and miss. Count was even at 2 apiece now.
Thompson Thompson swinging through that, fouling that one off into the glove of catcher Holden Fielder.
So 2-2 count, 2 out. This one hit right to second base, grounded, thrown to first. Not in time, he was off the bag. And Shenandoah will score.
Oh my God.
8-4. These fans are going to lose their mind.
They're going to go nuts on that one. But the first base umpire had it all the way. That the kid got pulled off the bag on the throw.
From here, it looked like he was off.
Yeah.
Not by much.
But it's clear. And so they're going to go talk about it a little bit. But he was pulled. And so that's got to go as an E4. As a bad throw. Oh, no, they're going to overrule it.
Nope.
Okay. Okay.
From the crowd's reaction, it sounded like, yep. But
no. So
8-4 now is our score.
So that's definitely an E4 as the umpire makes the call there for you as the scorer. When he goes the Olay sign, then you know that it's a bad throw. And so now Colby Martin will step in here, 1 for 4. As the Shenandoah Hornets now have extended their lead with another run here in the top of the 7th. And the Lynchburg fans are not pleased. That first base umpire is going to need an escort off the field after this game is over.
They're always a rowdy bunch in any sport. Couple fans asking for replay. Don't have that at this level of ball.
I hope that you all can hear what is being said in our microphones, because it's clean and it's obviously a little bit amusing. And if I was a Lynchburg fan, I would feel exactly the same way that they are right now. That's tough to make that call in that situation. Doesn't mean that it was the wrong call. It just means it's a tough one to deal with.
That's Thompson. And now thrown out. In the end, it doesn't really matter. Colby Martin will come back to bat in the top of the 8th. Hornets extend their lead 8-4, heading to the bottom of the 7th. You're watching ODAC Championship Baseball on LHSN.
We're back here, University of Lynchburg, Fox Field. It's 7th inning stretch time, bottom of the 7th. Shenandoah now 8-4 over Lynchburg. Shenandoah 8 runs on 12 hits, 1 error. Lynchburg 4 runs on 8 hits and 2 errors, the last of which was very critical as the throwing error by second baseman P.J. Alvanos called at first base allowed the Shenandoah Hornets to score another run and right now are doubling up. Lynchburg, score update from that men's lacrosse game right about halfway through the second quarter, 5-2, Lynchburg over Christopher Newport. As Kyle Lisa steps in, let's say that the other way. Kinston Carson steps in against Kyle Lisa. Turn it back over to Matt.
1-0 count early to Carson as he'll hit this one, just a ground ball that rolls into right field. Leadoff single for him, moving his day to 2 for 4 now, 2 singles.
Clean single in the 2-3 hole, or the 3-4 hole, and Kevin Anderson will come out of the dugout. I think this might be all for Kyle Lisa.
He has had a outstanding performance for Shenandoah today, coming in, not allowing any run. He will be responsible for the runner on first if he's pulled at this point, which it does look like.
Yeah, I
And
think
is
this
that Jacob Fit? No.
No, it won't be Favor. This is going to be. It is Favor.
Okay, that's what. 54. Jacob
oh
Favor saw the long flow in his hair.
He is not somebody that I had on our active list. Favor, the erstwhile number 2 starter for Shenandoah this season, has been out the last couple of weeks with some arm issues, and so I was told that he was done for the year. But you know what? It's Championship Saturday, and he's made a miraculous recovery. So Favor now in the lineup for the Shenandoah Hornets. I definitely did not have him as an active player. So Mark Weaver, I know you're not listening to the broadcast, but if you are, I send my sincerest apologies for not having him as one of our 35 guys on the roster. And in case anybody's wondering, there is no roster limit. You can dress your entire team if you want. And Shenandoah elected to take a travel roster. They only took, like I said, 35 guys down here. Well, now they took 36 because Jacob Faber is out on the mound.
I don't think I saw him at the send-off on Thursday. Maybe he was there in the bunch of Hornets that came down.
Yeah, so Faber is 3-0 on the year with a 2.77 ERA in 26 innings pitched. This is his 8th appearance. 3 of the 7 previous appearances were in relief. His first ever victory as a starting pitcher was first ever victory as a pitcher was in relief. Then he worked his way in as a midweek starter, got a couple of wins there in that role, and then became the weekend starter towards the end of the season, the Game 2 starter on Saturdays and Sundays, or Saturdays, and then he was the Game 2 starter should have been the Game 2 starter against Hampton-Sydney in the quarterfinal round, and that's when he came up injured and has not pitched since that point.
He got injured so late in warm-ups that you actually had announced him as starter to the crowd at Bridgeforth that day, before Calvin Pastel actually came out on the mound in what would have been the top half, the bottom of the first there, because Shenandoah was the away team in that game, number 2.
Yep. And so Faber has not pitched since a 6-inning outing against Hampton-Sydney on May 1.
So 3 weeks off for him. Similar to Kinston Carson, the starter for Lynchburg today. He had missed 2 weeks of action on the mound. Faber's first 2 pitches are balls, 2-0 count.
But you got Faber in there, and I think that Kevin's looking at him and saying, all right, you've got the 7th and 8th. If you can get those 2 innings, then they will probably go to Martin for the 9th.
So 2-1 count. Runner on first after a leadoff single, and that one is going right in the shoulder,
and
shoulder blade.
And that's something with Faber. He has shown a propensity to hit guys. That is his 7th hit batter this season.
So averaging just under 1 per appearance at this rate.
And so now that brings P.J. Alvanos to the plate with nobody out, runners on first and second. And you wonder here if they're going to bunt.
See what they end up doing. And that ball thrown high for ball 1, 1-0 count. P.J. Alvanos is 1 for 2 today. Had a single in his previous at-bat. Count now even at 1 apiece.
Just took a call from the ODAC commissioner, and in fact, that's exactly what was going on in the press box. They're like, "We don't have this kid in the roster." And I'm like, "Yeah, because I was told he had a season-ending injury."
That one sounded like he got the bat.
Yep, it did.
So foul tip for strike 2 right into Matt Moon's glove. 1-2 count, 2 on, no out. Here in the final 3 innings of 9-inning baseball game. 8-4 is the score. Shenandoah with the lead. Lynchburg looking to score for the first time. Looks like Albano's called time.
Yep, and Favor being smart, he's continued through his motion and through the pitch.
Go, PJ.
So Lynchburg looking to score for the first time since the bottom half of the second inning, as this one will be hit right to Wolford, and he'll just take himself and step on first for out number one. But Albanos moves each runner into scoring position.
Yep, he did his job.
Yep.
He's not going to get credit for a sacrifice, but that's what he did. Put the ball on the ground to the right side and moved those two guys up to the second and third. So now both in scoring position with one out here in the bottom of the seventh.
Gavin Collins, 0 for 3 today. This is huge at bat for him. He has flown out to the outfield all 3 at bats, so if he does that again here, possibility of bringing home a run.
That runner at third base, the responsibility of Kyle Lisa.
And Lisa heading into today had an ERA below 0. I believe he said, Scott.
0.63 coming into today.
Definitely helped his ERA numbers with his performance.
And so Moon and Favor making sure they're on the right page in terms of signs. Moon's not calling the game. He's getting the pitch calls from Kevin Anderson in the dugout and then relaying them to Favor on the mound. 2 years ago, when the NCAA had an experimental rule that the ODAC was a part of, where they could use electronic devices, so you could make the call from the dugout. The catcher could look at something on his wrist.
That one gets past Matt Moon. Here comes the runner, and he will score. 8-5 is our score. Now as Kinston Carson comes home to score, and Avery Neves advances to third. Still just one out.
Not sure if that is going to go as a wild pitch or a pass ball.
Looks like it bounced off of Matt Moon's glove.
Yeah, so would not be. Nope, they're calling that a wild pitch. Like I said, that was 6 of one, half dozen of the other.
This one low, 2-0 count now.
So that clears the books for Lisa. And
his day officially done in the stat book.
Yep, Alvanos is Faber's responsibility at third base here with one out in the seventh.
This one hit right to Booker on a line. Right to him, didn't even have to move.
Yeah, a weak liner to Booker. And so now Atkins stepping in.
Atkins is 0 for 3. Got on base in the second, thanks to an error by Keegan Wolford over at first. Other than that, he has struck out twice. Both of those against Kyle Lisa, so his first time seeing Favor today. 1-0 count. And in the top half of the eighth, you have Martin, Wolford, and Booker up to bat for Shenandoah, as this one will drop into center field. We have a 2-run ball game now after Carson Atkins gets his first hit of the day with an RBI single. So once again, wild pitches and pass balls playing a huge role in this game, as thanks to a wild pitch by Jacob Favor, one runner comes home to score, and then Avery Neves, who advanced to third, was able to come home on that blooper to center field. So steps in Holden Fielder, the catcher. He is 1 for 3 today. Had a single in his first at bat, all the way back in the second inning. Came around to score. Throw back to first. Not there in time. Atkins has to slide back. His jersey dirty. Both teams now with double-digit hits. Shenandoah with 12, Lynchburg with 10. Swung on and missed. Strike one. 1 count, 2 out. I don't see any arms warming up in Lynchburg's bullpen, so Thurman probably coming back out on the mound.
Oh, for sure. I mean, he's looked pretty solid. There's no reason to. I mean, and he's your top guy in the pen. I think in a 2-run game, you got to stay with him as long as you can.
Throw back to first. Once again, in time. Fans giving the first base umpire some grief.
And they give him a little bit of a Bronx cheer when he made a safe call on one of those throws over to first base.
Oh,
nope, no pitch. No pitch on that one.
Holding called time. Or sorry, that's holding fielder.
Yep.
Another high throw, 2-1 count. Lynchburg scoring 2 to cut the Shenandoah lead in half. 8-6.
Come on, Fiedler.
First run scored since the second inning. Throw back over to first. Guess what? Once again, in time. So 2-1 count. Just 3 pitches thrown to Fielder at the plate. He's thrown more to Wolford at first this at bat. Packed house here at Fox Field on Lynchburg's campus. Swung, and this one a roller. Martin will scoop it up, throw it over to Wolford. That one ends the 7th inning. Lynchburg scores 2. Lead is now 8-6 for Shenandoah. We're heading to the top of the 8th. You're watching ODAC Championship Baseball on LHSN. Top half of the 8th inning here on the campus of University of Lynchburg, here in Game 3 of the ODAC Baseball Championship Series between the 4-seed Shenandoah University Hornets and the 2-seed University of Lynchburg Hornets. The Battle of the Hornets, and the Hornets from up north, Shenandoah, have the 8-6 lead currently, as I believe we have still same pitcher on the mound as Thurman. For Lynchburg, Colby Martin steps into the batter's box to lead off this inning for Shenandoah. And he is just 1 for 4 today, has gotten on base 3 times. First 2 times were thanks to fielder's choices. And then he had a single in his last at-bat.
Had to go down there and apologize to Mark Weaver, the official scorer. And Brad Banks and the ODAC commissioner, they're like, oh, no problem, we got it. We just didn't know who he was. And fortunately, I had left him on the pronunciation guide so they can kind of decipher who he was from there.
Talking about Jacob Faber, who came in for relief in the last inning for Shenandoah. Colby Martin faces a 0-2 count here now.
It's one of those deals where sometimes if you think there's any chance at all, you just leave him on there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a little bit, because we have so many guys, because we have a 70-plus man roster, I'm looking to cut it down as much as you can so you get it on one page. And Faber was part of that because they said, oh, no, he's finished. He's finished for the year. And Kevin definitely did not put him on the list of traveling down here.
So after the count was 0-2, Martin works it back to even at 2 apiece, which we've seen both teams do a handful of times today at the plate. Working these pitch counts up for all the pitchers that have stepped up to the mound. And that one's in the dirt. Full count.
I think you're looking at Martin. You get through the bottom of the 8th with no further damage and no runs given up by Shenandoah, and you have at least a 2-run lead. You're going to see Martin on the mound in the 9th.
He will hit that one right to short and is thrown out at first.
It
was at second base.
Yeah, don't say that he was hit right to short. He was hit right to the shortstop.
Yes.
But Schaefer was playing him up the middle. He basically had to make one step to his left and made the play. So Lynchburg flat out playing Martin to hit the ball up the middle, and they were in the exact right position. Schaefer in that same spot now for Keegan Wolford. Wolford 0 for 2 on the day.
Going back to Martin, he is top 5 in the ODAC in saves. So, like you said, Scott, don't be surprised if we see him take the mound if the score remains the same heading into the 9th.
Yeah,
or if, we extend it as Shenandoah.
I think regardless, if Shenandoah scores a couple runs here in the 8th or the 9th, and it has let's say they have a 4-run lead, they maybe, and Faber's still in there, they maybe give Faber a chance to start the inning. But it's not something where he's going to stay in. They're not going to go to Martin quickly if something goes wrong.
That one thrown high, 2-1 count now. There is a pitcher warming up in the bullpen for Lynchburg.
A left-hander. Wolford, the only man in the first 6 hitters in a row in the Shenandoah lineup without a hit so far. Ritter 3 for 5, Thompson 2 for 5, Martin 1 for 5, Booker 1 for 4, Madigan and Delaverne each 1 for 3. So the 8 spot, which was started by A.J. Ward and then pinch hitter Jackson Foreman, that's an 0 for.
This one takes a hop. Can't tell off of what.
Oh, for first base.
Off of first base, okay. Got a couple fans in my way.
There's only one thing that can make it bounce that high in the air, and it's bouncing right off the top of, or right off the front of the base. And that's exactly what happened as Keegan Wolford gets his first single of the game.
Spoke it into existence with some help.
Yeah, a little bit. So now with a runner on first and 1 out, it's for Pierce Booker. As I mentioned, Booker 1 for 4 on the day. That's the 5th hit given up by Thurman.
So 1 out, Wolford on first, 1-0 count to begin that bat. Booker's last hit and his only hit of the day came back in the 6th inning.
That was that ground ball that you didn't want to see, but had seeing eyes.
Yeah.
Oof.
And he did not see that one too well as he swung in front of it. So count is now 1-1.
Shenandoah 8 runs on 14 hits, 1 error. Lynchburg 6 runs on 10 hits. They've had 2 errors.
fielder has done a great job behind the plate today, making sure that any ball in the dirt doesn't get too far. He's had a couple get past him, but overall, he's had a spectacular day back there. And that one,
gotta be.
I don't know if it hit him.
I think it's a foul ball. Just based on the way that Pierce reacted to it, because if it went off of his hands, he'd have been in some serious pain. But because the way it bounced, it had to have gone off his bat. So 1 and 2.
Definitely a close one.
Yep.
If his grip was a little higher, maybe it hits him. But you never want to see a ball hit a guy, especially in the hands.
That's broken finger territory for sure.
Won't swing at this one, and look at Wolford. Wolford running. Gets a second safely.
So he moved up on the wild pitch. Keegan, as we discussed yesterday, not the fleetest of foot, but he is a smart base runner, and he correctly read that ball in the dirt and got himself into scoring position here with 1 out in the top of the 8th inning.
Early in the season, we did see him steal a couple bases in the first 1 or 2 games.
Yeah, he's got 4 stolen bases in the year. But again, he's going to pick his spots. Oh.
Swung on and missed. That one was thrown high, as there are now 2 outs here in the 8th inning. The top half, Shenandoah leads by 2 as Madigan steps into the batter's box.
Yeah. Booker, that went around his eyeballs. And he was just like, I'm swinging. I don't care where it is.
Well, and Thurman lost his hat.
Shocker.
Someone might want to get him a tighter fitting cap.
Well, according to Mark Robertson, he went down a quarter size in his cap this year. It still didn't help him.
Grow out the hair, maybe? I don't know.
So that, I was wondering about that, whether it's
should fell off again?
Should he grow his hair out, or should he get a haircut? Like, okay, even if he does go down a size, like when his hair grows in, that's obviously making his hat smaller and won't fit as well on his noggin.
Strike 2, 0-2 count. Doing his specialty, getting strikeouts. He already has 1 in this inning. Madigan at the plate. He is 1 for 3. Had a triple. He was the last batter that the starter Carson faced. And he'll swing at this one, miss. Trots towards first, and we are heading to the bottom of the 8th. Shenandoah 8, Lynchburg 6. You're watching ODAC Championship Baseball on LHSN.
All right, we're back here, University of Lynchburg, Fox Field. Bottom of the 8th inning, Shenandoah 8 and Lynchburg 6. I mentioned 5 or 6 innings ago that I said Shenandoah skipper Kevin Anderson had shoved his chips into the middle of the table and said this is where he was going for it when he brought Kyle Lisa in the 3rd inning. He obviously re-upped, and he got himself some more chips, and he's going all in now on this victory as second baseman and ODAC Player of the Year, Colby Martin, moves to the mound to try to get the last 6 outs of the game. Martin has had exactly one outing this season in which he has pitched more than one inning. And it was frankly, it was a disaster up at Penn State Harrisburg. The second inning that he pitched, he ended up giving up a walk-off grand slam home run. And Kevin said, I've learned my lesson with him. He is a one-inning guy. But you know what? It's Championship Saturday, and I think if he looked at Colby and said, can you give me 2 innings? Can you give me 6 outs? Obviously, the kid is a competitor, and he's going to say, yeah, Coach, I can do it. And so he's gone, he's shoved, and he's bringing in Martin to finish this one out. Obviously, a save situation with a 2-run ball game. And so Shenandoah loses the DH, which Martin will hit for himself. And they have also brought in to play second base, and hitting in the 8th spot in the order will be Austin Parton, who is a sophomore from Willow Spring, North Carolina. So Parton comes in and plays the second base spot, taking Jackson Foreman's position, who was pinch hit for A.J. Ward a couple innings ago. So you'll see Parton come up in the top of the 9th, but Martin is in here to try to get these last 6 outs and lock up this championship for Shenandoah University, which would be its 3rd straight ODAC baseball championship and its 4th overall. And he's going to face 9-1-2 in the Lynchburg lineup, Schaefer, Lane, and Jackson. Matt, take it away.
Ryan Long, the shortstop, like Scott said, batting in the 9 spot. He's 2 for 3, has a double and a single in his last 2 at-bats, as he works with a 1-0 count. Fans starting to get loud once again. Have been off and on all day. 2-0 count now. And we've seen, like I said, Martin is in top 5 in the ODAC with saves. In a save situation here if he continues to pitch more than 1 inning, but like you said, Scott, he may not. And 2-1 count now. Throws a strike on pitch number 3 of the at-bat. Cameron Lane in the on-deck circle, just 1 for 3. He had a triple back in the 2nd inning. That one high, 3-1 count now. Got to throw one in or near the strike zone now. Not expecting Ryan Long to swing in this situation. He may if he gets a ball that he likes, and he will, but it's foul. Heading towards the parking lot. So full count. No one on, no one out. Wind up and pitch, and fouled back. Watch out. Ooh.
Nice catch.
Yeah. Barehanded catch by a fan. Unique situation where the stands are here. Way different from back home in Winchester.
And dug into this hole, into this hill.
This one popped up. Watch your heads. Barely misses a car, apparently. So 3-2 remains the count after about 7 or 8 pitches at this at-bat. We don't have the pitch count. Swing, and this one heading foul. So a couple balls have been fouled off back to back to back after the original count was 2-0 and then moved to 3-1 a couple pitches later. Swing, and this one chopped to Ritter at shortstop. Throw to Wolford will not be in time. That's an infield single. I would assume they're giving that infield single, yeah.
Has to be. There was no misplay on that. It was just a well-placed ball. And so now Schaefer with the hit, and that flips the lineup for Lynchburg. Lane, the leadoff hitter.
Sorry, that was Schaefer. I kept saying Long this entire time.
Yeah, they subbed him out for on the pinch run a couple of innings ago.
That is right. They're going to give a balk.
What?
Don't know why, but
Said he gave it a little bit of a hitch. So that tightens things up considerably, as now Lynchburg with a runner in scoring position and nobody out here in the bottom of the 8th.
with their top of the order coming to bat. Right now, you would have to assume that batters 1, 2, and 3 will see the plate.
Yep.
Unless a weird double play or something happens at some point.
Top 5 hitters in the Lynchburg lineup, all with a hit today.
Strike 1 on the first pitch to Cameron Lane. That is Garrett Jackson on deck circle. Runner in scoring position. Ball thrown high, and Schaefer advances to third. Once again, these pass balls and wild pitches are definitely playing a factor for both teams. This ball game is closer than Shenandoah fans want it.
Yeah.
And
this is
right where Lynchburg fans want it.
Exactly where you expect it to be. It's not going to be easy.
Swung and missed. I think that one was a foul tip. I heard some metal on that one. So 1-2 count now. No games are easy to win, especially ones in this situation with what's at stake. Winner not only wins the ODAC championship, but advances to the NCAA tournament, regionals. Strikeout and out number 1 of the inning to Cameron Lane. That is the first strikeout thrown by Colby Martin today. Comes up Garrett Jackson, the first baseman, number 21, steps up to the plate. He is 1 for 3 today. Had a single back in the second. Was walked back in the fourth as this one hit the Booker. They'll throw it to Moon at the plate, and he is out. Big out there. These fans not liking it.
Hosed him at the plate.
I think he was there plenty, I think easily out.
Moon, I tell you what, Matt Moon might be the MVP if Shenandoah ends up winning. A 2-run home run, and then that defensive play right there as Lucas Jones is giving it to the home plate umpire. He is not pleased about that call. But I think you're right, Matt. I think we had a great look at it. It was close, but Moon, I think, was able to block the plate.
And it's not like he dropped the ball either, because you do see times where catchers will drop the ball, and that's where some confusion comes into play. He held on to it.
Yep.
And sorry, Lynchburg, I may have jinxed you. I said 1, 2, and 3 definitely coming up to bat. Oh, they still did. Okay,
yeah,
good. Sorry. Okay, no apologies.
Yeah. So Jackson reaches first on the fielder's choice. Now 2 outs and a runner on first base for Kinston Carson.
If he hit that at any other spot in the infield, we are talking a 1-run ball game now.
Correct.
But he hit it directly to Booker. Booker didn't even have to move. Stood up and just lobbed it to Moon.
He made a great throw.
Yeah.
And that's the other piece of that puzzle, is that Booker has to make that throw on target. Because if it's offline at all and Moon has to move his glove to make a tag, it's not happening. But it was right where it needed to be. Moon blocked the plate. Boom, the kid's out. So
if Shenandoah holds on to this lead and ends up coming out as the victor, defense won them this game.
Yes. I mean, the offense has done the work, but you look at those plays by Henry Delaverne, Grant Thompson, and now Pierce Booker and Matt Moon.
This one hit. Oh, Parton cannot get. Oh, wait.
He hit the batter. Or hit the runner. He's out.
So he's out.
He's out.
That one was, thank you, Scott. I always can use your wisdom around here. We are heading to the top of the ninth, 2-run ball game. You're watching ODAC Championship Baseball on LHSN.
Welcome back here, the University of Lynchburg, Fox Field. 9th inning, 6 outs to go. All of the three of us can hope that it's only, only 6 innings, obviously. 9th inning, and it is 8-6 in favor of Shenandoah University. The Hornets getting very, very lucky there in the bottom of the 8th, cutting down a run at the plate, and then when Lynchburg looks like they've extended the inning with another hit, the hit hits the runner from between first and second, so he gets credit for a hit, but he's out,
Okay.
and that ends the inning.
I was about to ask, what does that go in as the book?
Yeah, he
in
gets
the book?
credit for a hit, but he's out, and so Henry Delaverne will lead off for Shenandoah. It'll be Henry Delaverne, Austin Parton, and then Matt Moon for the Hornets in their now 9-man lineup as Colby Martin moved from second base to the mound. So Shenandoah playing without the designated hitter for the rest of this ball game.
What a wild ride.
Score update, 7-6, 5 minutes into the third quarter in that lacrosse game, or 10 minutes ago in the third quarter, depending on your worldview. Lynchburg and Christopher Newport.
0-2 count now. Delaverne at the plate. He has struck out the last 2 times. Up.
Delaverne is just so super aggressive with the stick right now.
So 0-2 count, no outs. He gets contact on this one. Great grab at third, throw to first, in time. Out number 1.
So this will bring up Austin Parton. Parton with a 143 average, albeit that's only in 7 at-bats. He's got 1 hit on the year. He's made 1 start in his previous 8 games. This is the 9th time he's appeared in a varsity game this season, and I said that intentionally. The Shenandoah has a developmental program. They play a pretty extensive developmental schedule under the direction of Nick Spores and Chris Jenkins. That's a big part of the Shenandoah program, is getting the younger players. We have a 70-man roster, getting those kids at bats and mound appearances. And so this is a situation where, yeah, Austin Parton hasn't played second base in a varsity game, maybe so much this year, but he's gotten some innings in, so it's not like he's so green as a college baseball player. The JVs play Potomac State. They play a number of JUCOs that are very, very strong.
Well, and it's a busy schedule for them, too, and they practice the same amount as the
varsity.
The varsity.
Yep.
Getting the same reps, and they're at all the home games when they aren't playing, doing a lot of the groundkeepers' work at Bridgeforth Field.
And they've got the pitch charts and all the cameras and all the other kind of stuff.
Retrieving foul balls, all the work that's not on the field during play. 1-2 count to Parton. 1 out in the top of the 9th. And strike 3 for out number 2 of the inning. Brings up catcher Matt Moon, who, Scott, you said it, in the bottom half of the 8th, may just be a player of the game with his work on defense and, of course, his first career home run all the way back in the 3rd inning, which made this game 6-4, and so far Shenandoah hasn't looked back, retaining the lead the entire game. Lynchburg has not led at all in this one. Have come back to tie it twice, back in the 1st and 2nd innings. He gets hold of this one, grab by second base, throw over to first. We're heading to the bottom of the 9th. 3 outs to go. Shenandoah up by 2. You're watching ODAC Championship Baseball on LHSN.
Welcome back. Pottsfield, University of Lynchburg. Scott Musso along with Matt McDonald.
McIntosh.
Matt McIntosh. I don't know why. I had an intern was named Matt McDonald 10 years ago. I'm sorry. I was getting ahead of myself because I wanted to talk about Coach Anderson and his chess moves. I wasted a whole mess of time last inning talking about Colby Martin being a one-inning guy, and now they're throwing him in there in the 8th inning. Well, there's a reason why he did it. He's only going to pitch the 8th inning. He threw the 8th, got through it, and now Kevin has turned the ball over to Ethan Laird. So Colby goes back to second base, stays in the game. Austin Parton out. That means that Ethan Laird, who is what Kevin calls a Nextel, a guy who both hits and pitches, is in the game in the 8th spot as the pitcher. Now, Austin Parton just batted in the top of the 9th inning, so that's not really a factor. But the point being that Martin he was the bridge guy to get you to Laird. Laird was the winning pitcher yesterday in Game 1. That was his first career victory. Had a great conversation with his father beforehand. Found out that he and I share not only an alma mater, but we actually lived in the same residence hall there. He graduated a few years before me. But the point being, we did both graduate from the University of Notre Dame and lived in Flanner Tower during our time there.
Well, if Laird's going to get the job done, he's going to have to do it across some big bats. You got Avery Neves up here now to lead off the inning. Then P.J. Alvanos and Gavin Collins are the 3 Lynchburg Hornets to take the plate in this inning. This one popped up. Watch your heads, fans. Watch the cars. And that one drops. So 0-2 count now. Lynchburg down by 2. 3 outs to go. That one.
Good pitch.
Oh.
Good pitch. Good waste pitch on 0-2, just outside. Nothing. Neves not attempting at it. Oh.
That one hits him. Gets a runner on base now. That is the second straight time that Neves has been hit by a pitch.
That's one of those things. I was just getting ready to say that the first batter is so critical. From a mental standpoint, if you get that first batter out, then those guys know, Lynchburg knows they're down to 2 outs, and they've got nothing. But now, with the leadoff guy on and only down 2, one swing of the bat ties this ballgame. That completely changes the mindset of the guys in the home dugout.
Well, and one swing in the bat can also create 2 outs with a double play. If you're looking half glass full, half glass empty, depending which way you're looking. If you're Lynchburg, you're thinking, yeah, one swing can tie it up. If you're Shenandoah, you're thinking, yeah, one swing can get us 1 out away. This is hit well, going, and it is gone. 2-run home run, 8-8 game. No outs here in the bottom of the 9th.
So I told you. It's one of those things. You've got one swing of the bat. That's why you can't hit a guy, because now you made a mistake, and rather than being with a little bit of a lead, now you're looking at still got work to do, or you're going to come out of here losing this ball game in the bottom of the 9th. Well, Lynchburg's got all the momentum in the world. Tie ball game, 8-8, nobody out, and Collins up to the plate. Now, you're Shenandoah. You got a lot of work to do to get yourself back into a mindset that, hey, this game's still out there to win, but Lynchburg's got all the momentum, and the crowd's going nuts. This place, that's exactly why you can't go out there and do something like give them a free base runner. And this crowd, it went from nothing to crazy, just like that. So, again, that's why baseball is a great game. 27 outs. It's not over until you record that 27th out.
Well, for both teams, fresh slate here. Still 3 outs to go in the bottom of the 9th. Pitch outside, ball 1. This is Gavin Collins coming up. He's 0 for 4 today. 1-1 count after that one crossed the plate for strike one. Crazy game this game is. Been all over the place. They're going to say he went around, and even with this game tied, these fans still not liking the calls that umpires are making.
I think that's the right call. It just
Yeah.
doesn't make them happy about it.
This one fouled off. Count remains 1-2. If you're just here for the baseball, this is a fantastic game. If you're a fan of either one of these teams, your heart's are racing.
Your heart's in the throat, for sure.
Laird hits this one up into the center. A single now in this 8-8 ball game. So 3 straight hits here in this game 3 of ODAC championship. So still no one out. Carson Atkins coming up to bat. 1 for 4 today. Had a single back in the 7th inning. Sure you all can hear the fans. It is loud here at Fox Field. This one thrown high. Count 1-0.
Shenandoah thought that a bunt was on. Pierce Booker was nearly in Atkins' grill as the ball got to the plate. And he does show bunt. Atkins, Laird goes high again.
Two-0 count, shows bunt again. They'll call him on a strike this time. A bunt, a good placed bunt would advance the runner into scoring position.
In this ball game,
Yeah.
Win a championship for Lynchburg.
And he gets it down. He'll get tagged out on the first base line. So 1 out here now in the bottom of the 9th. Runner in scoring position. This brings up Holden Fielder. But maybe.
Nope, looks like you're going to have a pinch hitter. That's going to be Avery Combs, I believe, who, according to Mark Robertson, Avery was the starting first baseman for the longest time this season. He's been pinch hitting in this championship game. Comes in today's game with a .288 average, 40 hits in 139 at-bats. As Kevin Anderson out to the mound to talk to Ethan Laird, and he's going to bring in Cade Templeton. So the chess match continues. They'll go lefty-lefty on this as Laird exits.
If we're looking ahead, still 2 outs to work here in the 9th. But I want to say I only counted about 2 ODAC championship games in baseball have gone to extra innings back in 2000 and 2021. Looked that up before today's game.
Score update. Start of the 4th quarter. Christopher Newport 9, Lynchburg 8. Over there in the land of pleasant living on the Eastern Shore at Salisbury University.
So Cade Templeton will get time to throw some warm-up pitches. Get ready for this big bottom of the ninth with runner in scoring position. And that is Gavin Collins. We began this inning with Avery Neves getting hit by a pitch. And the very next batter, P.J. Alvanos, hits a 2-run home run, followed by a Gavin Collins single. And then he moved up to second thanks to a sacrifice bunt by Carson Atkins. Pitch hitter Avery Combs will be the next batter for Lynchburg. Both teams have, whatever happens in the next couple moments, both teams have had a fantastic year and are looking strong for the future.
Again, everything is on the line here. I think it's win or go home. You win this game, you win the championship, you're guaranteed to be in the NCAA tournament next week. And I think the loser is going to be sorely disappointed. I just don't see a second bid coming from the Old Dominion Athletic Conference this year.
We've seen some outstanding baseball this tournament and all season, and why not end it this way? Strike one. Shenandoah's tournament started by way of a 6-hour rain delay. Played baseball until the next day.
That was brutal.
Is this one hit into the outfield? It'll drop. Throw coming home. So is the runner. At the plate. And Lynchburg has won the 2021 ODAC championship in baseball. What a game. Final score is 9-1. They scored 9 runs on 14 hits, and Shenandoah scored 8 runs on 13 hits. It is a 3-run 9th inning that completes the comeback, and Shenandoah is going home while Lynchburg is heading to the regionals for the NCAA. Thank you for watching us here on the LHSN.
I don't think we're done. I think we are going to be finished. So, we're not done. We're not done. I'm sure that Max is going to have some post-game interviews with the University of Lynchburg players. Get the announcement of the all-tournament team and such. Congratulations to the Lynchburg Hornets on winning the 2021 ODAC championships, ending Shenandoah's run as ODAC champions after 3 years and 2 championships. So Shenandoah will likely end its season with a 31-11 record. Lynchburg improves to 33-13 with the championship. For Scott Musa, Matt McIntosh, we're going to be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the center of the field, where Brad Jackson will recognize the baseball All-ODAC tournament team. All tournament team members in attendance should come forward and be recognized. From Eastern Mennonite, Natty Solomon and Rachel Perico. From Bridgewater, Jeffrey Snyder and Brent Clark. And from runner-up Shenandoah, Colby Martin. And now, from your Lynchburg Hornets, Keegan Carson. Avery Lee. Zach Potts. And the 2021 All-Florida Baseball Most Outstanding Player, Keegan Albano. Let's have another round of applause for these fine student athletes, the 2021 All-ODAC tournament team.
Good job, guys! Good job!
First off, what a great championship and a great tournament. The Ultimate Athletic Conference congratulates Shenandoah University for a great season. The Hornets record stands at 31-11, following their 5th appearance in an ODAC title game. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a round of applause for Shenandoah University. And now, for the presentation of the 2021 ODAC Championship Trophy. At this time, we ask Lynchburg captains or other team representatives to step forward and receive the championship trophy from Brad Jackson. The Lynchburg Hornets complete the conference season with a 34-13 overall record. Title and receive the ODAC athletic bid into the NCAA Division III tournament. Ladies and gentlemen, here in the 2021